Hola, hola mi gente, bienvenidos otra vez. La Trifuerza está presente, suscríbete ya ves. El juego aquí es la ley, cada video es un festín. No te pierdas lo que viene, conéctate hasta el fin. Dale like y suscribirse, no te lo puedes perder. Nuestra pasión es jugar, lo mejor está por ver. Cada martes y jueves subimos con emoción las mejores aventuras, directo al corazón. Si te gusta lo que ves, comparte con tus amigos. La diversión no se acaba, este canal es testigo.
Buenas. Yo soy EVELIUZ, bienvenido a Trifuerza de Hugo. Y hoy vamos a retransmitir el primer día de Xbox, del evento de Xbox, la Gamescon Livestream, el primer día. Y bueno, ¿qué vamos a esperar hoy en este evento de Xbox? Pues se nos va a hablar, creo que de Diablo 4, la expansión, de Diablo Immortal, de S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Hola, Playmoda. Buenas, ya hay gente en el chat, bien. Y hola, Michiwata, que te has pasado antes de saludar. Vamos, también se va a ver algo de S.T.A.L.K.E.R, como he dicho, de S.T.A.L.K.E.R de Chornobyl, la expansión de Starfield, el espacio quebrado, Atomfall, que diga, y Mythology, el remake. Pues bueno, yo espero que aparte de los videojuegos que ya sabemos que se van a mostrar, pues nos dé una sorpresita, por lo menos una sorpresita que sea grata y buena para los usuarios de Xbox, porque con el cierre que tuvimos ayer tarde, en el Open Night Live de la introducción esta de los Gamescom, que vaya cierre tuvo con mostrar Indiana Jones para la PlayStation 5, bueno, que puede ser un tasco de agua fría para los usuarios de Xbox, yo lo puedo entender. Mira, el morbo está en Horizon 5, dice Mishiwata. Bueno, la verdad que fue un jarro de agua fría lo de Indiana Jones. Yo lo puedo entender hasta cierto punto. Lo puedo entender desde el punto de que tiene que rentabilizar los juegos porque los juegos cada vez son más caros. Y Bethesda no es un estudio propio de la marca Xbox, es un estudio comprado. Entonces yo entiendo de que, bueno, tanto los juegos de Activision como de Bethesda salgan a otras plataformas. Ahora, que lo hagan como lo hicieron ayer, que todo el mundo estaba esperando la noticia de que saliese en PlayStation 5 y en un evento, cerrando el evento, mostrando que un juego de PlayStation de Xbox que tanto ilusiona al usuario de Xbox lo mostrase en PlayStation 5, macho, es que ¿qué más da esperar 6 meses, 12 meses o un año si lo vamos a tener en PlayStation 5? Que sí, que en Xbox va a estar día 1 de Game Pass, es que a los 6 meses va a estar en PlayStation 5. Vosotros pensáis una persona que no se quiera comprar la PlayStation 5, que se quiere comprar la Xbox. Y bueno, ¿para qué me voy a comprar la Xbox si a lo mejor el Indiana Jones va a salir la PlayStation 5? Si tiene dudas, ya hay algunos juegos más que le pueda llamar la atención en PlayStation 5, pues se va a tirar por PlayStation 5 porque se quiere pillar el Indiana Jones. No sé si pilláis el concepto. La verdad que a mí me sentó como una patada en los cojones porque soy principalmente usuario de Xbox. Me molesta por ese sentido, porque lo anunciaron a bombo y platillo. ¡Fum! Fuera. Además cerrando el evento. La sorpresa de la Final Fantasy 16, dice Mishiwata. Bueno, a mí que Final Fantasy 16, la verdad, Mishiwata no, bueno, a mí los Final Fantasy, yo entiendo que haya mucha gente que los quiera, ¿no? Pero bueno, yo apostaría, por ejemplo, a mí el daño se me quitaría si PlayStation anunciase la nueva IP de estudio de The Last of Us. La nueva IP de estudio de The Last of Us, como el estudio. Que como no soy muy de PlayStation, pues se me olvida. Pero vamos, imaginaos, si ese estudio, la nueva IP, la anuncia también para Xbox, para mí el daño está igualado. Vale. Porque no creo que PlayStation vaya a darle algo bueno a Xbox. Ahora, si aquí la concentración de guapo, hombre, guapo, sí, unos pocos sí que somos guapos, ¿no? Hola, Horacio, buenas. Bueno, estaba comentando eso, de que para que, Horacio, no sé si lo ha visto, para que el daño más o menos estuviese igualado de Xbox con el anuncio de Indiana Jones a PlayStation, yo propondría, para mí, se me curaría ese daño si la nueva IP del juego este de la marca de la sofá, no me acuerdo cómo se llama la editora, macho, ostras, sacase la nueva IP para Xbox, pues el daño estaría más o menos igualado. Naughty Dog, macho, eso, Naughty Dog, si Naughty Dog sacase la nueva IP para Xbox, el daño estaría igualado. Sí, falta Lolo, sí, bueno, así se vende, por lo menos somos 5 personas y a ver cómo se me da mi primer evento, que falta 8 minutillos. Yo espero que hoy Xbox saque una sorpresa, aparte de que los juegos que ya se han anunciado, que ya sabéis que es Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, S.T.A.L.K.E.R, bueno, los que ya anunció en el cartel de la Gamescom, pues yo espero que anuncien una sorpresa. Durante los 3 días no se ha anunciado nada de Blade. Yo espero que Blade, que es un superhéroe, el cazador de vampiros, a mí las películas de Blade, los cómics de Blade, el personaje de Blade me gusta. Yo espero que anuncien algo de Blade. Dice que bueno, debe un regalito al usuario, dice Horacio. Pues sí, y la verdad que yo no sé los acuerdos que habrá hecho Xbox con PlayStation 5 para cederle el Indiano. Pero la verdad es que se rumorea que Naughty Dog va a sacar una nueva IP. O sea, yo sueño que esa nueva IP venga a Xbox. Así ya el daño para mí sería reparado. ¿No? Es que, macho, Xbox, ahora que se está haciendo más fuerte, coño, se dé estas cosas a PlayStation 5, yo es que no lo veo. Es que parece que esta generación sigue teniendo la sartén por el mango PlayStation y que Xbox se tiene que llevar los pantalones. Y, ostras, macho, si tú quieres sacar Indiana Jones, lo saca. No lo anuncie en un evento cerrando el evento. Así a bombo platillo. Para hipear a todos los usuarios de PlayStation 5. Coño, tú tienes que hipear a los usuarios de Xbox. Más para adelante, tú lo sacas a PlayStation 5 si lo quieres rentabilizar o lo quieres hacer negocio con él. Pero cuando pase un año y medio o 2 años, pero primero a tu usuario. Y lo anuncias para tu usuario, dando la fecha. No, que lo anuncia dando la fecha y encima minutos después para PlayStation 5. Hombre, si Blue está también por aquí. Hola, Blue. He visto antes que estabas por el canal Sky. Pues bueno, pues muchas gracias por pasarte por aquí también, hombre. La verdad que bueno, son amigos del canal y amigos de Twitch, con los que yo me río un montón en Twitch. Pero que yo no sé qué pensáis vosotros. Mira, Bruce, por ejemplo, está totalmente de acuerdo conmigo. Es que es normal. Es que es normal. Yo, por el tema de hacer caja con un juego, porque sepamos que todos los juegos son caros, últimamente son muy caros de producir, tiene que rentabilizarlo. Pues coño, sácalo más para adelante. No lo anuncie quedando un evento y me voy a repetir porque estoy muy jodido con ese tema. Y la gente dirá, "Ah, es que, sí, es que imaginaros que hacen lo mismo con un anuncio de PlayStation 5 anunciando para Xbox. ¿Cómo se pondría el usuario de PlayStation 5? Yo entiendo de que cada marca debe tener su entidad propia. Por eso no me gustaría que ni Halo, ni Gears, ni los Forza, ni los Fable saliese para PlayStation 5. Lo mismo que tampoco me gustaría que los Overwatch, los de la sofá, los Spider-Man saliesen para equipos. Cada uno debe de respetar su identidad. Ahora, pero estudios comprados, ¿por qué no? Pero sácalos cuando lo rentabilices. Bueno, somos 6 personas en el chat. Bien, bien, bueno, ese es mi primer evento. Quedan 4 minutos. Bueno, apuesta, alguien que me diga qué apuesta o qué sorpresa cree que puedan anunciar Xbox hoy, aparte de lo anunciado. Dice del marketing, Michiwada dice del marketing de Xbox sigue en práctica. Práctica es decir una cosa ya, vamos, yo creo que ni se saca el título. Son patéticos. Bueno, a ver si, oye, otra cosa. A ver si hoy nos toca a alguno de nosotros el monitor que va a sortear Sky. ¿Eh? Yo digo que me va a tocar a mí, vamos, casi seguro. Ya veré, ya veré. Mira, Forza en PlayStation 5. Mira, por mucho que diga que luego le va a dar dinero a Xbox si lo haga en PlayStation 5, yo no quiero que salga Forza 5 en PlayStation 5. Porque es un juego de identidad de la marca. Me dolería muchísimo, muchísimo más que el Indiana Jones, fíjate tú. Pues bueno, 2 minutos y 45. No, yo tampoco, yo dudo mucho que anuncien, pero vamos, si lo hace, ya, vamos. Ya no es pegarse un tiro en el pie como ha dicho Indiana Jones, ya es pegarse un tiro en la cabeza. Como hoy anuncien un juego para PlayStation 5, madre mía, ya pasa ese pon. Yo es que no entiendo lo que hace Xbox. No entiendo. Es que cada día Xbox parece que es un chiste, macho. Matando cada vez el formato físico, que es una de las cosas que a mí me duele. Saca un juego de su propio estudio en una consola con reproductor y formato digital. Hablamos de Senua Saga 2. Fomentando de que cada vez juegue en más sitios su juego menos en la consola. Que si Face TV, que si en la tablet, que si no sé qué. No sé, no sé el futuro que va a llevar la marca, no sé, la verdad es que es un futuro muy, muy incierto. Estoy aquí leyendo un poco el chat, ¿eh? Pero vamos, yo espero que como anuncio sorpresa anunciase el Blade, porque tanto ni hoy, ni mañana, ni pasado mañana, otros días que hay evento de Xbox, no sabemos nada de Blade. Pues bueno, ya falta un minuto. A ver cómo abre el evento este. Voy a dar un poquito de agua, tengo la boca seca. Esta tarde noche quiero subir un vídeo sobre qué me ha parecido a mí la salida de Indiana Jones en PlayStation 5. Segundos, 29 segundos. Venga, vamos, que esto ya arranca. A ver lo que me espera. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Venga, ya, esperaros, esperaros. Qué nervios, qué nervios. No, vamos, yo creo que va a abrir con un Diablo 4. Bueno, vamos a arrancar ya. A ver con qué arranca esto. Me voy a poner los cascos para escucharlo, porque si no, no lo escucho. Bueno, el coche está de Forza, como tengo la camarita, espérate, vamos a quitar la camarita de ahí. Con dos cojones, como anuncia ahora el Forza para PlayStation 5, vamos.
Herzlich willkommen hier aus Köln. Welcome to Gamescom.
For the first time, Xbox Game Studios, Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda are coming together here in Cologne to bring you what you want. More new games.
And we've got our work cut out for us this week as we showcase the more than 50 titles on display and the many ways to play that makes Xbox the best place for gaming.
And this many titles, we need reinforcements.
That's right, Lena. You need a crack team of gamers willing to play and properly fan out over the latest titles. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
So get yourself ready for some interviews, live gameplay, and some big announcements across Xbox consoles, PC, and cloud, plus all the latest titles from Game Pass and PC Game Pass.
You know, in fact, Henry, we've already seen the brand new game mode reveal for Forza Horizon 5, hide and seek at the top of the show. And remember, that launches on September 10th on Forza Horizon 5.
It's over to Charlie.
To help kick off our show, we've got some very familiar faces here with us. It's Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. Thanks so much for joining us today. First question, how does it feel to be here at Xbox's Gamescom presence?
It is so much energy here. It's been fantastic to be part of Opening Night Live last night and to see their reaction. This booth, and I have no idea why we're calling it a booth, because it's not a booth. It's an entire wonderland.
It really is.
Pues están hablando de Forza Horizon 5 y no estaba anunciado,
experiences, with games that you can play, things you can see, incredible photo opportunities is fantastic. So to see folks pouring in and experiencing it, and it's just, it reminds you of what makes this industry special, which is all about celebrating games, the joy they bring, and the people who make them.
It's, for us, our first Gamescom with Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, Xbox all here together. So there's definitely something special. All the teams have gotten together, and I think there's just such great representation. I'll also say the industry's gone through a lot of transition with our shows, and seeing Gamescom as strong as ever with fans, consumers coming in, all the creators that are here, and strength across Europe. Like, we need more of this in the industry. I'm glad we're here supporting. And it's just awesome to see how the support this show.
Bigger and better every year. We love to see it. Before we come to the booth, though, I actually want to talk. I saw you both were at Opening Night Live yesterday, and there were some pretty amazing reveals and news in there. So what was it like? I couldn't get a ticket, unfortunately, but what was it like to be in the room with that live reaction?
There's nothing better than being in the room with the live reaction and to just see people marvel at the things that are made. All the work being showcased, and folks put so much work into bringing that forward. I'd say for me, it was really cool to see Game Pass titles in the show. I think we had over a dozen titles that are coming to Game Pass in the show. We're just having a fantastic lineup. But I was expecting to announce that Genshin Impact is coming to Xbox.
Yeah, that's my one.
There's some pretty cool Game Pass rewards that are going to be part of that.
Nice.
There's going to be full cross progression, and it's also going to be on cloud. So that one was a real highlight for me, because I know so many fans are excited to enjoy that on the Xbox.
I love when creators are making new things, and you have to be really brave to come to a show, maybe before you're done, show your game, get the feedback, teams that are creating new games. I thought the diversity of games at the show was awesome.
Oh, absolutely,
From big, huge games to smaller games, things we've heard of, seen. things we hadn't heard of. I also have to say Genshin. We got to meet with the MiHoYo team earlier in the day, and they had such excitement for this, their announcement. And it was nice to be able to support that.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously, we can't talk about opening night live. We saw some amazing new stuff from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle as well. How is that exciting? We also saw the news about PlayStation as well, which is really cool. I'm really interested in that. So I want to know how this connects back to Xbox's perspective on how and when this approach happens to other titles.
I mean, I'll start just saying Machine Games is doing such a nice job with that game. I thought it showed really well. And that's the most important thing, is quality of the games, teams that are getting support that can go build the game. And it was just nice, the long gameplay segment that they had. I thought obviously last spring, we launched 4 games, 2 of them on the Switch, 4 of them on PlayStation, and we said we're going to learn. We said we'd watch. I think at Showcase, I might have said from our learning, we're going to do more. What I see when I look is our franchises are getting stronger. Our Xbox console players are as high this year as they've ever been. So I look at it and I say, okay, our player numbers are going up for the console platform. Our franchises are as strong as they've ever been. And we run a business. Like, it's definitely true inside of Microsoft. The bar is high for us in terms of the delivery that we have to give back to the company, because we get a level of support from the company that's just amazing in what we're able to go do. So I look at this, how can we make our games as strong as possible? Our platform continues to grow, both on console, on PC, and on cloud. It's be a strategy that works for us. And the last thing I'll probably say is, I think as an industry right now, there's a lot of pressure on the industry. It's been growing for a long time, and now people are looking for ways to grow. And I think that us as fans, as players of games, we just have to anticipate there's going to be more change in how some of the traditional ways that games were built and distributed. That's going to change. That's going to change for all of us. But the end result has to be better games that more people can play. If we're not focused on that, I think we're focused on the wrong things. So for us as Xbox, health of Xbox, health of our platform, and our growing games, most important things.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Lovely. Now back to the booth. I saw you both walking around earlier before you joined me up here, sneaking some pictures with devs at Frontier, Sega, and GSC Game World. So I want to know, Sarah, specifically what it's like to be working with our partners here in Europe, and what kind of evolution we can see from these partners in the future.
The partnership we have with here in Europe is fantastic. We have over 2,000 partners in EMEA actively building games.
That's a lot of emails.
I know it is a lot of emails for Xbox, PC, and console, and cloud today. We've got over 20 of them here with us, here in the booth. And it's just been great to walk around, to see what they're doing. 2 Point Museum for Sega Europe. We've got the S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 team, GSC Game World, back with us, supporting them over the last couple of years has been a real highlight. So to get to be able to play their game again here is fantastic. We just walked over and checked out Winterboro, which is a very, very special.
Oh, they look so cute. I'm very excited for that one.
And so it's great to be able to grow here with the partners that we have in Europe.
Amazing. And it also comes, as well as the amazing support you've got for local devs, is there's such a huge player base here in Europe as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of special stuff are you seeing from us over here?
I mean, Europe's always been really important to Xbox. It used to be we treated this almost solely as a PC show. I'm old enough that I remember we used to take E3 and just show it again. Like, this was back when we didn't really treat Gamescom with the respect that it deserves. Then we were focused more on PC. Now what we find here is putting our games on PC, on console, really matches to the diverse player base we see in Europe. Like, some of the strongest franchises on PC are from here. You have great console support. So the most important thing for us is to show local support for creators, to put games in the hands of people. One thing that's great about Gamescom is you can come and you can play the games. You can feel what it's like to play S.T.A.L.K.E.R or Vessel of Hatred from Diablo. Like, you get your chance here. And I think that's something special about this show. And it's so accessible to so much of Europe. I just love that we support it the way we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the sheer scale that it demands, as well as you were saying earlier, Sarah, absolutely.
With our little city here.
The little city that we're building. We're the mayors. So I want to speak a little bit more on hardware, as we've gone over it a couple of times here. Since I've not spoken to you since the showcase at all, which is criminal in and of itself, but we saw the 3 new options for the Xbox Series X and S. So I was wondering if there's a little bit more information we can share about that.
Well, pre-orders are starting today.
Yes, Sarah.
All right.
Yeah,
Orders in. We're launching on October 15th in select markets, and we also have some very the options we're going to be talking more about later today, and for holiday and the rest of this year, some very cool console wraps that you can get to adorn your console as you may choose.
Christmas list sorted then. Thank you very much, Sarah. Okay, console options done. We're going to hear they'll be coming just in time for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which is amazing. Cannot wait for that.
Looks so good last night.
Absolutely fantastic. Talking of games, I don't want to know though, what are you going to be playing? Is there anything you've got your eye on? Last year we spoke about Retold, and I wanted to give you an update, and everyone at home, that I have now 100%ed Little Kitty Big City, and it is quite possibly the greatest game of all time. But yeah, is there anything on your backlog that you need to catch up on, or anything coming up soon you want to dive into?
Well, the Game Pass lineup is making the backlog extraordinarily long. And it's getting even better this year, both on console and PCs. We've got Aura coming, we have Age of Mythology, Flight Sim 2024, which looks incredible. Black Ops 6, of course, Indiana Jones, Stalker 2. Like, it's all like, what, every month there's something pretty amazing.
It's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games. We like games around here. But I would say, perspective, super excited for Diablo 4, especially because my father is probably the biggest Diablo fan. So Vessel of Hatred and that.
Vale, casi no se me escucha, vale, tengo que bajar. Entonces.
Probably the biggest Diablo fan. So Vessel of Hatred.
Baja un poco el sonido de venta, ¿vale? Para sacarme más el micro. ¿Se me escucha ahora mejor?
Yeah, the fact that Vessel of Hatred is coming up is pretty big in their world. And then I am excited to play Genshin Impact on Xbox, and particularly over the cloud.
Yeah, very good. That sounds grand. Yeah, love it. Perfect. Phil, anything for you?
Well, P3 on Xbox Live, people can see what I'm playing. A lot of Diablo 4 right now. My rapid fire rogue is L100, all my glyphs to 21.
Lleva un poquito el evento.
Having a good time with
Nada, estaba diciendo Mr. S.T.A.L.K.E.R que yo creo que tú y yo no lo conocemos de
like our partners at
¿verdad? Yo no creo que...
It was awesome to be able to partner with them.
Bueno, me alegra verte, por lo menos que te hayas pasado por aquí, porque tampoco sé si has subido del canal o no. O nada, bienvenido y espero que te guste el evento y que te den sorpresas como yo y como todos que estamos por ahí.
Some old school kind of tower defense mechanics. I love that. One of the things I get to do every month is I go through the ID selects with the team and we vote internally on games from different ID developers. Daydreams is a game I'm really liking. Little boy and his toy.
Bueno, mi canal
Teddy Bear.
Lo comencé ahora en verano, Mr. S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Era en verano una época mala, entonces que estoy haciendo unos pocos vídeos así entrando, hablando un poco de cosas, estoy haciendo el Facebook. Pero ya en septiembre me pondré a tope con el canal,
and get to dive in. I think there's like 15 of them. I play
con noticias y con cosas más
serias. But that's fun. A lot of great games, a lot of kind of new things and things that have been around.
Quiero comisión, si me toca el monitor de Sky,
I'm here, so I'm not
te doy la caja.
My buggy in Starfield. I'm looking forward. I've been asking for Todd for vehicles. Come on, Todd. I want vehicles in this game. I'm tired of walking around this planet. And I thought the trailer for that looked really good last night. So I can't wait to drive around planets in Starfield.
Wonderful. And talking of driving, I'm personally, if anyone's wondering, super excited. Forza Horizon 5 is over there.
Yeah.
It's the game I cannot put down. Absolutely adore it. So if they've got something new cooking, I desperately need to see
new gameplay mode.
Yeah. So excited. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the chat. Please enjoy getting your hands on our lovely city.
Media hora.
But I'm going to speak to these guys here.
No, media hora no.
Like me, you've been eyeing up those new consoles, then buckle up because we want to help you win one. Now,
Damos 15 minutos. Media.
Well, thanks, Charlie. So not only are these honeys available
15 minutos
right now, anyone watching the broadcast has a chance to enter to win
y no anunció nada, venga, hombre.
the 1 terabyte Xbox Series X all digital edition, by the way, the 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, both in Robot White, are the grand prize of the 2 terabyte special edition Galaxy Xbox Series X. I mean, look how gorgeous that is. To enter, just head over to twitch.tv/Xbox. Check out the rules and all the info in the chat. And best of all, good luck. So, next up,
yo la verdad, yo tengo la primera serie X y yo no me voy a comprar ninguna más.
the hide and seek.
A mí ya me va bien y tengo espacio de disco duro de sobra para lo que la uso para los videojuegos. Yo tengo siempre unos días un servidor instalado y me paso uno, vuelvo a instalar otro. Y la digital y la serie S no me llama mucho la atención de una serie X, la verdad. Madre, más que Jordan. Un coche basado en Michael Jordan. Forza Motorsport. Forza Horizon 5.
Hello everyone, it is an honor to be here at Gamescom representing the incredible work of our teams around the world. We have a lot going on here in Cologne on the show floor. Right here behind me, attendees can experience the demo for the Diablo 4.
La verdad, si tuviese que elegir entre los dos juegos de conducción, entre Forza Horizon 5 y Forza Motorsport, elegiría Forza Motorsport, no sé, me llama mucho más la atención.
During opening night live, we shared that this is a massive year for Blizzard, particularly
Diablo 4.
ambitious creative endeavor for the team since the game's initial release almost 20 years ago begins tomorrow, with early access kicking off for our latest expansion, The War Within. And tomorrow,
es el Diablo 4. Me encanta la saga Diablo. Es una de mis favoritas, una de las sagas favoritas.
More about the team's work on the expansion and the role it will play in the 3-part World Soul Saga.
Tengo todo el Diablo.
We also gave an overview of some new features coming to Diablo
Tengo
4,
hasta
Vessel of Hatred.
el libro de
S.T.A.L.K.E.R. lot of questions. So Diablo General Manager Rod Ferguson will be getting into the details of the new features coming with this expansion, and we'll share more about what's coming to Diablo Immortal. We're so excited to be here at Gamescom with Xbox and with all of you. Gaming is at its very best when we share our experiences, and on behalf of everyone at Blizzard, thank you for being a part of our legendary worlds alongside us. Now, before I go, I leave you with a parting gift from the Overwatch team. The origin story for our latest hero, Juno, now available in Season 12. Enjoy.
Un regalo para la historia de origen. Vamos a ver. ¿Esto qué es?
Flight, we're wondering why you haven't fired primary boosters yet. All systems appear optimal.
I just need a minute. It is so hard to say goodbye to the only home I've ever known.
I understand, but the colony isn't safe anymore, and our window of opportunity is closing. So let's get you on your way to your new home.
¿Esto qué es?
Next stop, Earth. Initiating boosters in 3, 2, 1. Control?
Our sensors indicate an external issue.
External?
Follow protocols and you'll be fine. But you have to hurry.
Overwatch. Yo que el Overwatch, tío.
I'm going to find a way to save you.
Yo que con el Fortnite
All of you.
ya tengo de sobra en lo basto, tío. Es que yo juego así. Y el Fortnite porque me enganchó de primera hora y porque juego con Play Modal, que es mi hijo, ya lo sabéis.
I think I see the problem.
Y bueno, tú, Bruce, sabes que yo le pego mucho a Fortnite. De hecho, los sábados fui a hacer partidas en directo. Entonces, que yo con el Fortnite y este tipo de juegos estoy servido. Probé el Call of Duty, modo multijugador, pero no me llamó mucho la atención. Más que nada porque soy muy mal con los Call of Duty. Y en Overwatch, el Avalanche, no el Avalanche, sí, me parece que el Avalanche lo estoy probando hace poco y...
Juno, I believe in you. trained for this kind of thing your whole life.
Blizzard debería sacar con 2 cojones sin de gordo, como tiene, el World of Warcraft para equipo, para consola, que se puede adaptar para consola. La serie X se puede jugar perfectamente con teclado y ratón. La serie X, la consola de Xbox, reconocen perfectamente un teclado y un ratón. ¿Por qué no saca el World of Warcraft para la consola? Eso sí que sería un pelotazo por parte de Blizzard. Hay mucha gente enganchada, tío, al Overwatch. Pero a mí...
I want you to live a long, happy life on Earth, sweetheart. Always remember, I love you.
I love you too, Mom. Okay, Earth. Here I come.
Attention, unknown craft. Halt your approach and identify yourself.
It is too late to halt. I'm coming in very hot. Who is this?
This is Overwatch. I am tracking your trajectory and will have someone meet you. For my records.
Quizás hace mucha calor, pero vente para Córdoba.
I am from Mars, and my name is Juno.
It's one of the fastest selling games in Blizzard's history, and it just made headlines again.
Este sí parece el primo hermano de
Here to give
Monte.
us an exclusive look at Diablo 4's newest expansion. Please welcome General Manager Rod Ferguson, Systems Designer Aislinn Hall, and Lead Game Designer Rex Dixon. Welcome guys to Gamescom.
Vengo de marzo.
Great to be here.
O menos mal que si viene en agosto va de
For those of the
culo.
people out there that might have missed what happened last night, why don't you clue us in? What exactly did you just do?
Yeah, well, last night was exciting. So our game director for their Vessel of Hatred expansion, Brent Gibson, got on stage and he talked about something that we've been going even deeper on the expansion.
Bueno,
We've
el
talked about
Overwatch.
the Spiritborn, the class. We've talked about the new zone, Nahantu. Talked about the new story campaign, but we're like, there's even more in the expansion than that. And so we really want to get into like.
Pues hablar del Overwatch tampoco habían dicho que iban a hablar del Overwatch. Supuestamente Blizzard iba a hablar de Diablo 4 y de Diablo Immortal.
And then the big thing was our trailer last night for our mercenaries.
Han colado ahí el Overwatch
Now,
en esta
let's talk
forma.
about them for a sec, because this is a brand new gameplay feature. We'll talk about new class and all that kind of stuff in a sec, but Mercenaries seems really interesting. You showed off like this vignette with 4 different characters. I mean, introduce us to them. Who are these people? Why did it feel like the right time to bring it in now? And how do you hope players are going to engage with the Mercenaries? Rex?
El Overwatch creo que estaba para mañana. No o para pasado mañana. Pero uno de los 3 días estaba listado y iban a hablar de la Overwatch. Lo que no sé es qué día, Sephiroth. La verdad que no sé si era para mañana o para pasado mañana, pero sí quieren hablar de la Overwatch. Van a agregar mercenarios a Diablo 4.
You have to go on these story-based quests to actually acquire the merc in order for them to party with you. So each merc has his own backstory, his own personality, and then once you acquire them, you can bring them into your party with you. And essentially,
sí, yo creo que lo estuve viendo el vídeo ese. Y la verdad que la Overwatch es una pintaza de juego.
You progress your merc is you have each merc has their own skill tree, and you can sort of pick and choose which skills you want them to have. And it's a really nice way to complement your build. So whatever build you're trying to go with, you can have the merc set up so their skills kind of match and overlap with your own. We also have a system called rapport. The more you work with a merc and the more you adventure with them, the more they can sort of give you more benefits and they can kind of grow in power. And so once you go back to the merc den, you can actually get custom rewards that you can only get by progressing your merc, building up that rapport in order to access these really awesome rewards at the end.
And then, so I'm gonna have to be best friends.
Sí, los mercenarios lo que nos va a dar más abanico de estrategia, también nos va a dar más habilidades, más beneficios. Está bien.
You can actually say, when I use this skill or perform an evade or something like that, I want this.
Es como por ejemplo los compañeros que no salían en el Diablo 3. Otra, Zephyros, como el Abower, le pase lo mismo que Indiana Jones. Ya, madre mía. Me refiero a que lo saque esto bloqueado. Ah, se ha quedado esto un poco pillado. Oh.
Merc with them.
Sick.
Yeah.
Otra, ahora se me ha quedado pillado, me cago en la mano.
I agree.
Yeah, great. Well, have you got any particular favorite mercs that you like playing alongside?
For me personally, Rahir, because
No que esté triste por el Interpretation 5, es que me ha jodido la forma que lo han hecho. Ya he visto la introducción del evento de ahora y de hecho voy a hacer un vídeo esta tarde, que lo subí esta noche, qué pienso yo sobre ese anuncio. A mí no me importa que pase a PlayStation 5. No me importa, pero que pase un año y pico, incluso a 6 meses, cómo va a salir, pero no ha anunciado bombo platillo esperando un evento. Cancela el evento con el anuncio de Indie y a los 5 minutos después ponen fecha para ir y a los 5 minutos después lo anuncian para PlayStation 5. Así no se hacen las cosas, de verdad. Entonces, pues me ha odiado más que nada, no es el hecho, es el cómo lo han hecho. No sé si está de acuerdo conmigo.
Side and the demon side is really cool to sort of complement the the variety on the battlefield.
Okay, well you've picked 3. I'll take the one left over.
Subo.
Yeah, I'll pick Subo.
No creo que sea por presión de Disney.
Archer, really. I mean, that's
exactly. Thank you. Well, that sounds like a lot of
fun.
Why don't we cover some behind-the-scene looks at the making Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred? Check this out.
Vaya, hombre, cambia esto porque sería un poco regular. Vaya, hombre.
Canyon, but each one of them has their own unique identity. When you first arrive in Nahantu, you're in this place called Lingering Hatred. This is high treetops canopies.
Sí, no sabemos las condiciones del acuerdo ni qué le ha pedido ni PlayStation ni Xbox, pero algo tienen que recibir a cambio.
The Hollows are a new enemy that's associated with Mephisto. They themselves are kind of like a tar-like substance creature born straight out of the depths of hell.
It feels a little twisted. There's a sickness to the area itself.
Humans have ventured into this deep part of the jungle where there's all this poisonous plants and flora. The dregs actually started experimenting with eating these hallucinogens, and it put them into this aggressive psycho rage.
The dregs were pretty fun because we were able to push more variety in the monster. One of these tall dregs,
que Diablo es una saga.
Another dreg on top of it, kind of controlling it and telling it where to go and tossing poisonous bombs at the player. When you come across it, it's very memorable.
And then we've also got the area of Tenganse, where you've got the Tenganse Plateau, which is full of these red-rocked plateaus and canyons.
Imagine getting up above the land. The gigantic walls have pockets inside where monsters could live. It offered up a lot of opportunity to bring back a monster family like the Lacunae.
We're bringing them back in a new way here as a fully fleshed out monster family with multiple classes.
What a more brute force looks like, what a caster looks like. They are very much apex predators, and we're definitely in their territory. And then there's a little sub-area called the Skittering Earth.
The name alone.
¿Sacarán la expansión en físico o sacarán después otra vez Diablo 4 por la expansión como hicieron con el 3?
Kind of input their influence on it.
Yo espero que lo saquen. Me gustaría tener la expansión física.
That humans have begun to mine away at for their resources. While they've got a lot of use out of them, they're also toxic to the land around it.
The notion of massive demons walking sanctuary 1,000 years ago is really thought-provoking.
Plateau's also got just this beautiful color scheme to the lighting. It's really lovely to be there. And then
se está haciendo largo el evento, el ritmo del evento es larguito, ¿eh?
The mercenaries in Vessel of Hatred are a group of people who we like to describe as ordinary people with extraordinary skills. They have the will to fight against the demons of hell.
And there's 4 mercs that you can collect over the course of the campaign. It starts with Rahir, a blacksmith and a shield bearer, is a more defensive fighter.
He's able to go in there and soak up damage, use his shield as a bulwark against the enemy.
You meet him early on in the campaign, and he's one who introduces you to the mercenary network. You end up finding acquisition quests for 3 other mercs that you can find throughout the course of the story.
Subo, the drunken archer, is going to work really well for people who want someone who's out of the main melee, in the back, offering utility and that kind of range support.
Then we have Ariana, a berserker crone, who's a melee combat fighter, close range. She's got a really cool combat meter, a massacre meter, where you need to keep killing enemies to get the meter to be filled.
She's got a bunch of really interesting utility skills that you can kind of build in.
Finally, we have the demon child S.T.A.L.K.E.R, who's a magic user who can transform himself from human form to demon form and join you in combat.
There's this really great reinforcement ability where you can take one of the mercenary skills and attach it to one of your powers.
Vale, tú vete a comer. Aunque me digas que vas a volver. No, tranquilo.
The mercenaries for Vessel of Hatred, one of the things we are expanding on is the skill tree. For Diablo 3, you have a basic type of mercenary, but this time you can actually push a little bit more into the skill tree and make the mercenary the way you would want to play.
Going through each mercenary progression arc and outfitting their skill tree so that it's complementary to your character build, I think that's where the fun in the mercenary system really lies.
The Dark Citadel is a new in-game feature that's coming in Vessel of Hatred. It's an entirely cooperative player experience. All the mechanics within it are based around you working together with your party members to solve the challenges and face the first Khazra hordes within.
One of the outcomes of the Mage Wars is this giant crater and all the souls that were kind of lost in it from those
la Ciudadela Oscura es una zona cooperativa.
Who are kind of the original Khazra. They're using the powers within
interesante, eso sí me ha gustado.
To perform experiments to try and bring back their dark god.
Only recently, people have started going missing. They head into the Khazra region, they disappear, never to be seen again. So it's clear that whatever they're planning is about to come to fruition, and your job as the players to get in there and stop it.
Citadels are a place where we take what is the best part of Diablo, combat, and we test it in a different way, which is adding in cooperative mechanics that you have to manage on top of that.
For example, a boss has an attack, and as a player, you have to collect an item that allows you to reflect the attack back at him. So there's a little bit of a Twitch level mechanic there where you actually have to time your reaction shot. What's interesting about it is when you get multiple people in there, we're each responsible
Una
for
zona completamente cooperativa.
So we all have to sort of master the timing of that move. You can't do that kind of thing without coordinating as a team, and that's sort of the example of what Citadel.
La verdad que me entran ganas de rejugarlo otra vez.
We designed a lot of really cool bosses.
De hacerme un personaje de temporada. No voy a todavía ninguna temporada de Diablo 4.
And made like armor sets for each of the classes. That way you feel like you took their armor and you feel like you're wearing a little bit of them after your victory.
We also have a related to Citadel where, as you play through, a vendor can be interacted with to buy custom cosmetics that are unique to the Citadel. You can play with 2 people, but the ideal experience is for 4. In order to facilitate that, we've built an all-new Party Finder feature, and the community has been pretty vocal about wanting this for a long time. It made a lot of sense to us to pair it with this new Citadel mode.
It really is an activity that's geared towards people who love to play together with their friends or with strangers and enjoy that cooperative gameplay. I cannot wait for players to get into the world. I'm really just excited for people to see all the little hidden storytelling elements that the team has fit in.
So there's interesting things to find and see and discover around every corner, and it's just a really great experience getting to explore Nahantu.
Diablo 4 Ultimate Edition.
Party Finder, that is a fantastic idea. I mean, the amount of times I log on and a buddy's not there or whatever, now I can fill that gap. And
lo van a sacar en físico, otra vez, junto con la expansión.
I want to talk specifically first about the Dark Citadel, because as a guy that's into his endgame activities, that's a really creative way to bring players together and actually work things out. So tell us, what actually will players have to do inside Dark Citadel to earn some rewards, get through it alive?
So it's really a unique model for us. And again, Dark Citadel is built towards endgame. And we're doing more in Vessel of Hatred to push players through the campaign and then into the endgame. We think some of the best content is. So Dark Citadel will require at least 2 players to get through, and requires a lot of communication between players to overcome challenges. Every week there's going to be updated rewards.
Madre mía, qué tostón, estoy ya del Diablo 4, la verdad.
Including one very big fan requested feature, which is our scroll of retempering. So no more brick items. You'll be
10 minutos por lo menos hablando del Diablo 4.
All new tempering charges on that item. So I know everyone's very excited about that. And Dark Citadel is the best place to go to get that.
Excellent. Well, there is a lot in that, but it isn't the only thing that you're launching on October 8th. So what else we got to look forward to?
Yeah, so on October 8th, we're also going to be launching Season 6 alongside Vessel of Hatred. And Season 6 is going to have a ton of content that's bespoke. It's totally separate and unique to Season 6. And it's going to be free for all Diablo 4 players, which is awesome.
Más movido, con mucha acción, más ligero.
Details of the content of Season 6 in the coming months. But there's not going to just be new content coming in Season 6.
Entrevista siempre a Phil Spencer y a Sarah Bond.
We also have major character
Y a esto lo entrevista el primo hermano de Mamonte. Yo creo que la Pelo Pollo está comprado. Siempre la entrevista la misma.
Yeah, so if you're familiar or you've played Season 4 Loot Reborn, you know we did a lot of itemization changes that kind of fundamentally altered a lot about how you're playing the game and how you're getting rewards. The scope of the character progression changes that are coming in Season 6 are, it's the same. Like, it's the same grand scale. There's a lot of changes coming to character progression, a lot of improvements coming. I'd love to talk a little bit about the goals and also a little bit about some Paragon changes that are coming with the character progression updates. Yeah, so really when we were thinking about these changes, we took a bird's eye view and we wanted to think about how can we make put the power in the player's hands of how they want to interact with the challenge that Diablo 4 provides in the game. We wanted to make sure that you could opt in to your challenge level that you're comfortable with so that you can set your own pace in any activity throughout all of Diablo 4. And so we've applied, basically, you know, if you've played Season 4 Loot Reborn, or you've played some in Season 5, you might be familiar with the Profane Mind Cage. That's an item that allows you in the Hell Tides to up the level of the monsters, up the difficulty, but you get more rewards as well. And we've kind of applied that philosophy throughout all of Diablo 4. You can kind of opt into your own challenge and then get more stuff because of it.
Sick.
And then alongside that, we also have a lot of changes coming to Paragon. We wanted to add depth and choice to the Paragon system, but we know that it's pretty daunting for some people, right? So we wanted to make sure that while we were doing that, we weren't increasing the complexity, right?
A mí lo que no me gusta de la saga Diablo, ya a partir del Diablo 3, en el Diablo 2 estaba, pero no menos. A partir del Diablo 3, Diablo 3, Diablo 4, el famé. Bueno, tienen un guerrero, un asesino, cualquier personaje y te salen un montón de cosas buenas del personaje que no eres.
I'm absolutely buzzing to see it. I mean, the
Nacho,
best way to
¿qué
phrase it is like what Season 4 did to loot, Season 6 will do to progression.
Excellent.
Digamos, cuando cambias de personaje,
Back to the Party Finder, like there's things that
te sale otra vez de todo menos el personaje que lleva.
Party Finder is coming to the game, not just to the expansion. So,
oh, great.
And what's great about it is not only can you access it through the social menu that you can see, or you can access it through your remote wheel, you can actually access it from the map. So when you say, oh, I'm going to go do this dungeon, you can say, and list it as a party that people come join me in this dungeon. So it's a feature that's going to apply to the entire game.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I should also mention, in addition to Dark Citadel, we have another mode that we're bringing to the table, which is called Undercity. And Undercity is a time dungeon where you want to beat it before the timer runs out. And that mode has modifiable rewards. So you get these things called tributes, and depending on which tribute you use, you can modify and scale your rewards with the difficulty. It's a really cool mode. We're really excited. And one of the reasons we built these two modes is this concept of new ways to play. Right? People love our game. They love Nightmare Dungeons. They love Whispers. They love Helltides. But what we really want to do is make sure we have enough canvas so that every user can find something that is uniquely suited to them. And that's what New Ways to Play is all about.
Me and my friends, we just love being able to have a bit of choice, which is really fun in Infernal Hordes in the current season, for example, and being able to tailor exactly how messed up we want this level to get. It's fun. So the fact that it's getting applied to more aspects of Diablo that's awesome to hear. But between now and the Season 6 launch and Veil of Hatred, what other activities can players get up to whilst they wait?
I mean, really, jumping into Season 5, you know, like you were talking about, Season 5 continues the pace of Season 4. You can level up really fast. It's very exciting. The Infernal Hordes is a great new mode. Which
so
is like
fun.
You know, it's sort of a horde mode where wave after wave are coming after. You can go and fight the Fell Council to get your rewards from that. But that's really the big thing. And like, just even if you haven't played through the campaign yet, that's one of the nice things about
Para nada, Sefiro, siguen hablando del Diablo 4. Están súper pesados con el Diablo 4.
You can pick that story up and you get to continue and play. So if you haven't played through the campaign yet, now's a great time. And I would be, you know, I have to also do the pitch, right?
tosco.
Muy tosco. It's an awesome time to pre-purchase the expansion. You know, one of the things we had some great setups before, where you get the new cat mount, you get new armor, you get pets now, you have snow leopard and the tiger that'll follow you around and pick up stuff for you. But with last night, we actually added 2 more, where not only do you have angel wings that we had before, we added demon wings last night. So if you've already, so if you've already pre-purchased, you'll get your demon wings are coming or they're there. But it's a good time. And then we actually added with the Deluxe and the Ultimate Edition, we've actually added 1 month of Ultimate Game Pass. So if you haven't, you know, jumped in yet, or if you want to add an extra month onto your subscription, you know, pick up the pre-purchase, and you'll get an extra month. And I already got my code last night.
Hombre, ya he dicho, no sé si tú estabas, ya te había ido, que yo espero que algún día Blizzard y Microsoft hubiesen los dos cojones de llevar el World of Warcraft a la consola, porque la consola de Xbox se adapta muy bien, bueno, el teclado y el ratón se adapta muy bien a las consolas de Xbox y una posibilidad muy buena de llevarlo.
Thank you so much.
I don't know what else I'm going to play in the
Yo
meantime.
espero que eso sea posible.
Well, it's great. One of the nice things is we have a demo deck on the booth here. Here we have the whole Hantu corrupted, you know, temple, and it's actually got a 20-minute demo of the Spiritborn. And what's great about it is you go in and you can pick whether you want to be a gorilla type or a centipede type or a jaguar type or an eagle type.
Aunque ya no lo pongan en el Game Pass, me da igual que no pongan el World of Warcraft en el Game Pass, pero que salga para una versión para consola donde los juegos de World of Warcraft se pudiesen jugar en la consola.
You know, you also can be, you can mix and match. You can be half centipede, half gorilla, and create really cool mixtures and unique play styles. And so, you know, it's really exciting to watch people.
Yo también hacía años que no toco el World of Warcraft.
Press and content creators, people able to play. And
yo volví cuando lo de la expansión del Pandaria el Panda, que me volví a crear otro personaje, otro paladín curandero. Paladín curandero y me gustaba mucho ser medio tanque, Harley así. Pero me cansé, es que ya me he cansado y también estaba desconectado de la historia y de... Bueno. Antiguos amigos ya no jugaban y...
Our boss experience
Al final acabé
is
dejándolo.
not something that you can get in any other game.
We are giving players this heightened sense of horror.
We have to deliver the player with experience that they're the hero.
I think the spectrum of bosses that we have definitely hit everybody's personal horror stories.
So we're like 50 bosses now. Some of our bosses in Immortal are incredibly deadly. And we're really proud to be able to actually have the ability to bring Diablo back into our universe.
Everything that Diablo does, everything that Diablo says needs to be unnerving, terrifying.
It is going to be a very, very difficult battle.
The music changes, the environment changes, and all of a sudden, you have to fight for your life.
Ahora Diablo Immortal, ahora van a hablar de Diablo Immortal, venga.
Organic?
It really depends on the boss. sometimes it starts with a cool mechanical idea. Sometimes it starts with kind of a narrative germ.
The story team is going to have a lot of say in terms of like, what is the fiction behind the boss? And so what is the feel behind the boss?
¿Qué está apareciendo el evento? Aparte de diablamente soporífero.
Build up on a boss, especially the final boss.
Vamos.
In Tristram Cathedral, before you fight Albrecht, the first Shardborn,
supuestamente ahora después del Diablo tienen que hablar de S.T.A.L.K.E.R, que ese sí lo espero yo. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Gráficamente dice que se ve de putísima madre. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, corazón de Chornobyl.
That if you are paying attention to the dialogue will maybe resonate a little bit more emotionally.
Rollo total, mi chihuata.
Stronger I become.
Once they have the mechanics down and how they feel the battle should go, then they get all that together and then it gets passed off to art.
When it comes to design,
ya sé, si te he entendido.
definitely is a lot.
Vamos, yo tampoco soy la alegría de la vuelta, Vamos bien. Pero sí, te he entendido que es por el evento. A mí me está pareciendo, vamos.
Burnt skin, different diseased
qué rollaco, madre mía.
Stretch the skin out to make it look really uncomfortable. We take different parts of the body and then we twist them in very uncomfortable, awkward ways. We love using different humanoid bodies and then almost melting them together. The intention in creating Diablo bosses is to instill a general feeling of unease. So if it starts to feel like we pushed it too hard, that's usually the comfort spots.
We have so many different representations of evil and horror, so no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, you can always bet that there is something in our game that is going to terrify you.
Incredible.
So we have many different kinds of bosses in Diablo Immortal. Bosses that are almost too big for the level. They're not mobile. You only see the top half of their bodies. We have tanks where the main
perfectamente. Yo pienso igual que tú, Michi. Presenta los vídeos, los trailers, algún comentario corto y después las explicaciones de qué época han hecho las habilidades que han hecho para crear tal efecto o tal rollo. Lo ponen al final. Pero es que vamos, está siendo, vamos, el evento soporífero, no, aburrido total.
My favorite boss in the game is the Butcher.
Es que no entiendo. Vamos a estar en la parte de Blizzard, ahora cuando está en la parte de S.T.A.L.K.E.R es como, o de Starfield es como lo plantean, pero vamos, esta primera parte del Diablo 4.
Associated with encountering the Butcher. You open the door, he steps out, he's very, very fast.
No están durmiendo para saltar bombas en PlayStation 5.
What the hell is happening? I'm dead.
We wanted the Butcher to be the real Butcher from the first Diablo.
Como salga un bombazo y para
It
PlayStation
was
5,
kind
que
of
no
like,
va a ser.
how do we bring
Para tener los huevos
him
cuadrados.
into our game?
Pues imagina que ahora después anuncian el S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 para PlayStation 5.
Our Butcher is super intimidating. He's a gigantic boss, towering above the players.
A Butcher that was basically too angry to die. He's just shoving his guts back in. He's got the chain that he throws. He's got the rush, he's got the fire coming out of the ground, and it's just a fun, nostalgic fight. We've been building towards this encounter with Diablo since the launch of the game.
Diablo is the Lord of Terror. His food and drink is the fear of other beings.
He has this very recognizable silhouettes with his giant horns on his head and also down his back. He has this very intimidating smile that is signature to Diablo.
A final de año, antes del año, voy a reestructurar la habitación, voy a cambiar el setup. Voy a mejorar esto un poco porque he hecho con tantas máquinas que hago
to bend reality to new reality.
The whole team is excited. It's electric. Getting to bring back Big Red and then unleash him not just on one boss fight, but on an entire zone, on Sanctuary itself.
This Diablo is going to deliver a very epic
experience.
It's gonna be the best Diablo ever. I said it here first.
It is going to be possibly the most difficult battle in the game ever.
Mira, así se acaba ya el Diablo Inmortal.
Well, they're called Lilith's Mightiest Warriors.
Venga, otra vez el primo hermano de
joining us once again. This time to tell us more about what we just saw. We've got Diablo's GM Rod Ferguson, and please welcome Diablo Immortal.
¿Tú qué eres, de San Juan de Alafarache?
What the hell was that all about? Are you kidding me? That's got huge implications for the lore of Diablo because you're bringing him back.
Yeah, well,
tell me about this.
I mean, it's a thing that I don't think everybody really knows what Diablo Immortal is, really. So let's start with there.
Okay, fair.
Like, I think Diablo Immortal, the way to think about Diablo Immortal is our free-to-play offering in Diablo. It's a way to bring more players, and we wanted to go where the players are.
San Juan de Alicante. Yo pensaba que tú eras sevillano también, como
Diablo 4 world. So this is a way to reach players where they are. And so we have this great free-to-play, huge campaign, over 11 zones, 8 classes. We just added 2 over the last 2 years.
Best class.
The best, yes.
Por eso he dicho de San Juan de Alafarache, porque yo pensaba que tú eras sevillano, Michi.
New classes, and so it's really an exciting time. And so the story, the campaign, which is again over these 11 zones, is basically you're to beat this demon Skarn. Now, what's happened is that this takes place between Diablo 2
Una galop que parece que estoy en los infiernos abrasadores, ahora que estamos hablando de Diablo.
You know, Diablo back. So it's a really exciting time, and this is what this whole year has been leading up to. This is the year of the age of unmaking. This is the return of Diablo, and they've been building towards it for like over the last couple of years now.
Yeah, totally. I think, you know, you can tell Diablo is very, very major character in the Diablo franchise, and we have that on our splash screen all the time. So I don't know if it's a plan, but this is truly the most where it starts. And you know, Diablo is very, very significant because it's one of the original antagonists. You know, it's one of the 3 primevals. So I think in the history of Diablo story, Diablo world is Diablo has this reputation of corrupting people's minds, you know, corrupting humanity, and you know, twist people's minds. So when it comes down to the word, that means something is really going down.
So what does that mean for the people who are here at Gamescom? Do they get to experience that now, or what experience have you brought for them on the booth?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, we're really honored to be here at Gamescom. Like Rod mentioned, Diablo Immortal is our first take of mobile version of Diablo world, you know, on the phone, on the smartphone. So our mission is to reach more audience, and that's why we come here at Gamescom. Today we brought into a beautiful booth right here.
That's great.
Yeah, this is one of the most important content and gameplay in our game called the H.T.A.L.K.E.R boss. So H.T.A.L.K.E.R boss in our game is basically, it represents your power. It represents your power progression because all those bosses are your power gates. You have to beat them in order to get to the next difficulty level. So as you go through the game, you will feel you're getting stronger, and more difficulty level, you get more stuff, you know, the loot and the dungeon and the zoom. Most important thing about Diablo Immortal is that we want to create this social, very sociable, very lifestyle kind of gameplay. So for H.T.A.L.K.E.R boss, you can actually you can either play a solo, or you can bring your friends over there. And that's what we bring here. We built a tournament that 4 players come into the booth and they can play, and you know, you can just rank on the leaderboard and get awesome rewards.
You have to beat 2 bosses, so there's like you have to beat 2 bosses, and right now the fastest is about 2 minutes 45 to get through.
Think I got a shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, I know you play a lot. That's good.
That's right.
But anybody can do it. But it's really interesting, like that. Over 50 bosses made in this sort of these H.T.A.L.K.E.R bosses, and it's really exciting to see, you know, it's part of the progression, so it's always fun to have these new.
Bueno, Horacio, te has ido como has vuelto con Diablo 4. Bueno, ahora estamos en el Diablo Immortal.
Like you can play free to play on PC
today.
It's a great experience.
So players at home can also still experience the H.T.A.L.K.E.R bosses right now, or is
novedad ninguna. Hablando un poco de la expansión de Diablo 4, van a meter mercenarios, características y habilidades nuevas.
What kind of content can they get into right now and in the lead up?
Ya está hablando de Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, so next few months is going to be, like I said, it's going to be the most
es un evento diabólicamente soporífero.
It's going to divide into, like the main quest line, the storyline is going to divide into 2 parts. So we're going to keep some in the future, but the latest one
gonna come up is in September. It's a release we call it Crucible of Justice. This is where the story we're gonna reveal a very, very powerful weapon. It's called the Eldrim. It's a holy sword. And the player is going to go through the mission.
Ahora en septiembre darán como una pequeña expansión de Diablo Immortal.
To kill Diablo. So you have to find the sword and purify it goes through the ritual. And for player, the ritual, you know, I think if you play Diablo Immortal, you know, player is the hero. Player, you play the hero, you save the sanctuary, you save the humanity, but the sanctuary is corrupted, it's dark. And that darkness casts to players as well. So the ritual of purifying this Eldrim is actually a symbolic move of player that they willing to sacrifice themselves for the humanity, and that they want to prove themselves to be worthy to use the Eldrim, the holy sword, to kill Diablo. So that is the first part of the September release, and then we're gonna save the second part to the December, our holiday time, and we're gonna release the second part, which is the most exciting part, that you're finally gonna face the Diablo. And with the Diablo boss itself, we also introduce a amazing zone. It's called the War's Crown. You know, zone is one of our very, very important content in the game as well. It's beautifully designed. Not traditional concept of beautiful, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the word skin used so many times. I'm a little concerned, but I'll trust you guys.
It fits the word. It's beautifully designed. It's very dedicatedly, you know, created. And it's icy, it's barren. And it's that way is because Diablo travels through that continent and transforms the place. So it's like very depressing, you know, all the cast.
El evento de PlayStation. Es que para tener esto, no tenerlo. La verdad, a mí estos eventos así no me gustan nada, pero para nada. Y de transmitir esto y hablar sobre esto para mí es muy duro, porque es que os cuento Diablo y cuento yo para entreteneros mientras que dice esto. Me pongo a contar chistes y se macho que vaya tela marinera. Digo, si salen cosas así emocionantes que te impacten, vas comentando, vas otro rollo, todo el rato, Diablo.
I've become corrupted and I have to get purified over in the cold isle so that I can actually be worthy of this sword. Taking that sword and then being able to use it against Diablo is just a really cool moment.
I mean, you said in the video as well that this fight with Diablo will be the toughest fight.
Mira, es normal que cuando a uno se le está haciendo un tatuaje tenga una herejía. Todos. Yo no me llamo Miguel. No. Si Miguel soy yo.
I'm gonna see how much I'm gonna spoil here, but yeah, Diablo boss is going to be the hardest one that the player gonna encounter. Because Diablo is such a classic character, so we still take a lot of, you know, the classic skills from Diablo. So, you know, it's still featuring fire, lightning. So if you go to the battle, have some equipment, have some gears that with the fire and lightning resistance will be helpful.
I remember.
And because you're bringing the Eldrim to the battle, right? So when Diablo calls all his Diablo soldiers, and they will swarm over to you, and you have to beat them really, really fast. And that beat up of those enemies actually gonna recharge your Eldrim. It's gonna make the Eldrim ready to, you know, make it good use. So yeah.
Nadie pilla el chiste, porque nadie dice nada. Tan malo el chiste, por Dios.
Oh, come on.
The real end, you're gonna see this beautiful cinematics. It shows how player take Eldrim and eventually kill the Diablo. So.
That's all so exciting. I can't wait to. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go and set a time on the booth to make sure I get a chance at that leaderboard. But I want to thank you both.
So we have the Inarius statue. You know, the really big one. That's the size of that.
You know,
Fight me for it. I'm taking it.
I can't. They're gonna kick me
That's
out.
what we're doing straight afterwards. We're all going down, yeah, and I'm going to come out on top. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Gamescom as well. Coming up though, the team from S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is here with the latest from the sequel, Heart of Chornobyl. Sick. Plus, we've also got a look at the newest Xbox accessories that are enabling players everywhere to play the way
Hombre, por fin se acabó ya el Diablo 4. Venga, aquí viene ahora.
Starfield expansion, Shattered Space, and find out why fans everywhere are setting aside gigs of space to explore even more this epic open world. But first, do you know what's great?
Ese es bueno.
Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, take a look at this.
Welcome to the gameplay commentary of our new game, Lonely Mountain Snowriders, which is the spiritual successor to Lonely Mountains Downhill. It's a skiing game in which players need to find their own way down the mountains in a wild and beautiful mountainscape. Our most important new features are a real-time online multiplayer in which up to 8 players can play cooperatively or in a competition, as well as a new trick system that allows you to pull off awesome-looking flips, spins, grabs, or super cool combinations of them all.
El amor de su vida.
We focused a lot of the development time on the controls and to make the feeling of carving down the slopes as smooth and fun as possible. Skiing is all about using the terrain.
Este otro juego que tampoco estaba anunciado en el cartel, pero es que nos meta una sorpresa.
On top of that, you can also do tricks,
está curioso el juego,
or cross rivers and icy lakes. The game features 4 different game modes. The online multiplayer racing mode is all about crossing the finish line first. While in the team mode, you and your team members have to ride and do tricks together to ramp up the highest score and beat all the challenges. You can also pick each other up after a crash and place checkpoints as a group.
Pueden pedir ayuda.
In the solo mode, you have to beat challenges to unlock new mountains and trails. You can also try to reach the top of the leaderboards, or beat your own ghosts. This is the mode that will be most familiar to players of our previous game. And last but not least, there is the new Zen mode. Here, you can ride all trails without...
Coño, no podía haber anunciado esto. Diablo Game Pass. Y dentro de 6 meses para PlayStation 5.
Just enjoy the beautiful landscape.
¿Verdad?
Whether you're playing a team or single player, you will gain experience to level up your profile, unlock new ski types and trick poses, and a large variety of customization items. Thank you for taking the time.
Me recuerda a los personajes de Roblox. Venga, ahora anuncio. Llevamos 1 hora y 2 minutos de evento. Y en 1 hora y 2 minutos de evento, la entrevista de Phil Spencer con Sarah Bond. El Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal. Ya no está poniendo anuncios del Game Pass, de EA Play y todo esto. Ahora. PS Game Pass.
The Xbox Game Pass hype is real, and right now it's easier than ever to join the party, especially if you play on PC. Why? Because PC Game Pass is designed for PC players. Get new games on day 1 like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on October 25th. Play some of the biggest games of the year and unlock partner benefits from Riot Games and EA Play. And if you're not already a PC Game Pass member,
exclusivo para los jugadores de PC.
PC Game Pass for $1.
Y el lanzamiento es el 25 de octubre. Es uno de los mejores juegos para este año.
This post-apocalyptic
Si no son miembros,
title is set against 64 kilometers of eerie, explorable area.
El pase para PC cuesta $1 o €1.
Anticipated games of the year, and here to bring us back into the zone with some never-before-seen gameplay of S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2: Heart of Chornobyl. Please welcome Game Director Eugene Grigorovich. Eugene, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting.
No, honestly, it's so exciting. We've got the booth here at Gamescom. I've been able to get hands on. I'm so excited for you to take us through.
Lo que están pasando estas criaturas con la guerra, madre mía.
The previous was a year ago when we bring our demo showing just on the PC. Yeah. And today we are bringing another demo which will launch on Xbox Series X. And from our experience, it's looking very good. and we are happy for what we bring here. And
la gente debería de comprar este juego y apoyarlo del día
the
1.
players and the press, and for now I'm happy from what they us about the
Porque lo que está pasando en este estudio con la puta guerra.
Hands on with it, and it is so much fun. Because what we're going to do as well is we're going to hop straight into the gameplay that you're going to talk us through. So anyone watching who's excited to see S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 for the first time, if they haven't already, can see what they're going to be getting their hands on. So
no, va a salir para Xbox, ¿no? Yo creo que para salir aquí saldrá.
Gameplay up, so we've got it on our screens. So as we go, if you want to talk us through this gameplay, so we can know what we've got coming up.
Yeah. I'll take this part. So here the player is doing his first quest, and he got a scanner.
Han dicho que es exclusivo para Xbox, para PC.
About how it works and what it's for.
Este juego salió también a
information that it somehow recharge an artifacts that's put it inside it, and that if it got successful, it's gonna bring a lot of let's say money.
Yeah.
Maybe something else. So at this point, player don't know what is the goal of the character, why he's doing it, and he's learning the story about your character also by doing this quest line.
Because this is actually the bit that they've got on the show floor here, isn't it? At the start of the game. Because I had so much fun. I get what you mean as well when you're just trying to discover what exactly it does and the storyline sets that up. But what about the combat in the game as well? Because we can kind of see our first fight.
Y hay gente que lo ha probado y dice que vamos, que alucinante el juego,
in their camp and doing their cheeky bricky stuff, and then they saw something happened. A wall was destroyed with a huge noise. They just turned up going to see what's happening and found you, a player, and
it's amazing as well, because I found myself when I was playing this I was like the flashlight turning on and off, and like you can also like lean around corners, can't you, to kind of like engage fights from like a bit of cover.
Yeah, so it's very important in this game to have a proper tactics. You should hide a lot. You should use your med kits. You should survive grenades, because AI is very pushing and challenging.
Yeah.
They trying to outcome you, to go from other side, and it's pretty stressful. So it's a first fight. It's very simple fight against 3 bandits, but as from what we can see, it's often lead you to several deaths.
It's very unforgiving as well. And we just see as well, I found that it's like a big part of the game is like looting. So what kind of things should people be looking out for when they're looting?
Yeah, so the part of the game, so while we are fighting,
esta gente con lo que está pasando en la guerra, ya casi han destrozado el estudio, la localización donde estaban ellos trabajando. Hicieron polvo, se tuvieron que ir a otro sitio. Que se tuvieron que alistar incluso al ejército de los ciudadanos, se alistaron. Gente de aquí que se alistó y sacan el juego. Y la Power lo retrasa. Yo tengo problemas, yo creo que un estudio que se va a hacer. Todo lo que ha pasado, que consigan hacer el juego. Y otra gente que retrasen los juegos, no entiendo. Esta gente se merece que compren el juego bien. Por apoyarlos, porque vamos, madre mía, lo que han pasado los chiquillos.
Is not because you just want to find some items, but because it's interesting to discover this abandoned place where was some living some time ago, and there is some story behind it. And when you are just walking around and looking for the corners, and it's beautiful there, you can surprisingly find something stashed there, because it's an S.T.A.L.K.E.R stashes. They use some stashes for their next journeys, because they can bring like hundreds of thousands of kilograms. They have to make some stashes for there, and players sometimes find them, and it's often rewardable, and often it's very rewardable, because you can get a huge equipment boost by just going to some building you didn't expect to find anything there, but it could be there.
That's what I found. I found myself like an assault rifle when I just had a pistol to start with. I was like exploring buildings and found that. But the game also, it looks amazing.
Yeah, this is the start of a next fight. The player, we have some stealth mechanics.
Yeah.
So it's not very as you used to have a stealth in the game. It doesn't offer you like ability to be invisible for enemies. No, they will see you and shoot you. But at least it allows you to get slightly closer, to find better position to start the fight, and or maybe to initiate the fight with a grenade, so it would be easier for you, and then the fight is pretty challenging.
Yeah.
And you have to watch your hit points and your state, because you could get bleeding, and you have to use a bandage to stop this bleeding, because it's gonna last for long, and you're gonna lose a lot of hit points if you not stop and use the bandages.
Yeah, because you have multiple ways of healing, don't you? You've got like the bandages to stop the bleeding, but there's like different types of med kits that you can find as well.
You can have a regular med kits, medical med kits, and an army med kit.
Yeah.
And they
Gráficamente se ve muy bien. A mí me está gustando mucho. Lo que pasa es que lo veo un shooter genérico. Espero que la historia y la ambientación sea buena, porque aparte de los gráficos, yo veo un shooter bélico normal y corriente, ¿verdad? Entonces que espero que la historia sea buena.
Simulation or atmosphere as you being the real human that go area with your backpack with some food, and
Si no comes te debilitas, dice.
the same things to survive in the game as in life, because you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to like you fall, you broke your leg, you have to use some med kits to survive this, and that's what we are doing here.
Yeah, no, I honestly, like,
Dice Michiwata que este juego en la web oficial de S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 solamente se puede reservar para PC. Quizá en Xbox solo sale el Game Pass.
Like, I was jumping out of my skin because there was like a camouflaged opponent that I came across in the demo here at Gamescom.
Puede.
And like, can you tell us a little bit more about the enemies?
Pero entonces no sería exclusivo para PC. Sería exclusivo para PC en forma física. O en forma digital, te lo puedes descargar o lo puedes jugar en Game Pass como en PC.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R trilogy, and there are new factions, and they have a story behind them of how
¿Sabes lo que quiere decir? Si la página web de S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 solamente se puede reservar para PC, que salga en el Game Pass, no es exclusivo para PC. O lo puedes jugar de forma digital, tanto en el Game Pass, me refiero al Game Pass de consola, como en PC. Ellos le han dicho que era exclusivo de PC. Vamos, será solamente exclusivo para PC. Día 1 de Game Pass, pero en el Game Pass de PC. Entonces sí es exclusivo para PC. O sea que las personas que tengan Game Pass Ultimate pueden jugarlo porque también tiene Game Pass de PC incluido en el modelo de suscripción. Eso sí, entonces sí es exclusivo para PC. Ojo, es lo que estoy explicando. Dice el día 1 de Game Pass, claro, pero el Game Pass Ultimate, que incluye todo de consolas de PC, como está exclusivo para PC, pues ya lo puede jugar en el Game Pass, pero es exclusivo de PC. Por ejemplo, los usuarios que tengan la suscripción de Xbox Core o la nueva suscripción, pues no la tendrán. No tendrá. Ya exclusivo para PC. S.T.A.L.K.E.R exclusivo para PC. Ya está.
This terrified me. Like, honestly, I was like, wait. At first, I was like, what's
Es una pena porque este juego vendería mucho si lo pusieran también en consola. Porque la gente que juega solamente en consola, como yo por ejemplo, que yo últimamente no juego para PC más que los juegos antiquísimos que tengo guardados, pues yo ya por ejemplo no me lo compraría. Claro, eso es lo que estoy diciendo, mi Shiguata, que se refiere a Game Pass Ultimate.
Pieces of content just near the locations. This is not a main quest. It's
porque lo habrán quitado. Por algún motivo no la han porteado a juego de consola.
You an experience of discovering this real location.
No, es una pena porque este juego yo lo esperaba en consola.
Full of small pieces.
Yeah.
And for me, I find it very interesting to discover, even if I know the game.
En la web de Xbox pone que se puede jugar en Serie X. No sé, después lo miraré, no quiero tocar nada porque no quiero que se me joda el directo, pero no, claro, voy a mirar en el móvil.
So for me it's also like I feel the same wow effect when I discover something for me.
You really get rewarded for spending that time to look around the world and kind of try and find those caches, and it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, it's one of the main goals in making this game is to bring as much freedom and allow player to be as he wants to be.
En la página pone que se puede jugar en PC y en Xbox Series X y Series S.
That works for them, and the player
no sé si
like start being very rude and cruel, and they can act totally different in this game as like a player who wants to be on the friendly side. So there are a lot of and it's rewarding. So even being cruel is rewarding, but there is a balance.
Y solamente se puede reservar en PC a través de Steam. Lanzamiento 20 de noviembre de 2024.
It's November, so it's not so much time left. And for us, we are like every day counts. We are doing everything.
En la página te pone que
as Polish gameplay as possible.
En la página web sí te pone que va a salir en PC y en Xbox Series X y Series S, pero cuando le das a reservar solamente se puede reservar en Steam para PC. Aquí está la consola para poder jugar el 20 de noviembre S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2.
Thank you so much, VJ.
Thank you.
Play video games.
Good job.
Leo has issues with his motor ability.
No sé, sí, yo creo que lo van a potenciar para PC en un momento y después lo sacarán para consola. Si no, no lo entiendo. Mira, un joystick adaptativo, como si fuese un Joy-Con.
It just clicked to him. This is a joystick.
Estas cosas sí es lo que me gusta a mí de juegos para gente que tenga dificultades. No la PlayStation Portal. Coño, que invierten en estas cosas, coño. O la VR. Que no dan dinero. No. En estas cosas deben de invertir la industria.
Be yourself, design it how you want.
Gente que por HPV, por una enfermedad, por un accidente o por lo que sea, una malformación, por lo que sea, no tienen los miembros y coño pueden jugar sus videojuegos, macho. Mira este chiquillo, ostras, es que cuando lo ves, ¿por qué no puede jugar chiquillo un videojuego? Y tener la ilusión, la emoción que nosotros sentimos, ¿por qué no pueden sentirlo ellos? Estas cosas sí son las cosas que yo he hablado mucho a eso. Ahora, una PlayStation Porta, una VR. No tengo a mí la VR de... No debo sacar una VR para equipo.
We've got some new accessories designed to give gamers more ways to play. And here with all the details, please welcome Xbox Principal Designer Chris Kujawski and Senior Accessibility Product Manager Caitlin Jones. Welcome to Gamescom.
Thank you, Maxie. Yeah, thanks for having us.
How's Cologne treating you? All good?
Ahora vamos a hablar de eso, de la gente que está haciendo accesorios para la gente con dificultades, ¿no? Yo con dificultades porque no me gusta la palabra niño válido, ni disminuido, ni cosas así. Personas con dificultades físicas. Y retomando el tema de S.T.A.L.K.E.R, yo creo que están potenciando primero para PC y después lo sacarán para consolas, pero vamos, que deberían de sacarlo el mismo 20 de noviembre para dos formatos y físico si es posible. Si no eres tú caudar lo que haya recaudado, lo que tiene pensamiento de recaudar. Ellos sabrán.
That you can create with Xbox Design Labs. And these are really great, I think, especially for players who might have some difficulty using the thumbsticks on their controllers. They can choose from different shapes, customize the sizes, the height, and the width, and attach them to their adaptive joystick as well as their Xbox Wireless or Elite Series 2 controller, and really customize the way that they interact and grip with those thumbsticks on those controllers to meet their unique needs.
Detrás de la tableta esta, de la entrevista esta de esta gente que está haciendo el accesorio, supuestamente viene de Starfield, espacio quebrado. Yo me he instalado la actualización de Starfield, estoy volviendo a jugar porque no me lo terminé, porque cuando me lo compré, yo me lo compré el día 1 de salida, me lo puse a jugar, pero era un momento para mí que no tenía muchas ganas de jugar un juego largo y lo dejé a media. Entonces como ya la historia ya no he vuelto a empezar de nuevo y no he visto nada de la actualización. No he visto los coches, no he visto nada de autos, nada. Yo creo que el pelo del S.T.A.L.K.E.R sí o sí para Serie X, mi chihuahua. Y esto es lo que debe de hacer una compañía. Esto sí, esto lo hago yo a Microsoft, esté con todo tipo de usuarios. Todo el mundo tiene el derecho a disfrutar de un videojuego de una consola. Y la empresa tiene que apoyar y abogar por estos accesorios. Invertir en esto, yo prefiero que inviertan en esto, y lo vuelvo a decir, que una VR, una consola portátil, una especie de PlayStation Porta. Nada, yo prefiero que invierta en esto, que invierta en que un niño, una persona que esté impedida pueda optar a jugar un videojuego. ¿Por qué no?
But you can also use it without your Xbox Adaptive Controller. You can plug it directly into your console or PC and use it alone, or employ Xbox Controller Assist to link it with another controller and kind of play that way. So all in all, the disability community's involvement is absolutely critical in everything that we do, and we're so grateful to have them as co-collaborators and designers in these processes.
So many options. So how did the community feedback inform the final design of the adaptive joystick?
Yeah, like Caitlin mentioned, we're always looking for that feedback, and for this device in particular, we actually visited a hospital in Seattle.
He probado ya alguna actualización de Starfield. ¿Cómo es el tema de los vehículos y tal? Yo estoy súper intrigado. Me dará un vehículo, tendré que comprarlo. Lo podré meter en la nave. Pues cómo voy a meter un G ahora en la frontera, así no caemos ni cuatro gatos.
One of the most important things that we took away from that meeting was the importance of having the controller be mountable. Lets you put it in a lot of different positions, hold it stable if you're not able to hold the controller in your hand. So we added this threaded insert here that's the same one you'd find on a camera tripod or actually on the adaptive controller as well. And so that really allows you to use non-hand body parts with the controller easily. So we took that feedback and then used it to iterate on the design.
Wow. And just curious, how does that process look like of creating? Do you 3D print prototypes? Do you mold? What do you do?
We do both of those things. Usually, I like to start making something that goes in your hand by making it by my own hands. So we'll take a block of foam, carve that away. We'll take a 3D print, add clay to it, and then sand it away. And I'm doing this in the design lab, in the workshop in my garage. And we're just really iterating constantly to get the feel right, to get the ergonomics right, the position of the buttons right. We usually start with a very primitive form and then add those details throughout the design process. One of the other things that's really important from my perspective as a designer,
ya me dan un coche, me tengo que gastar dinero comprarme un coche, podré meter el coche en la nave, o sacaré tipo una cápsula como si fuese Dragon Ball, me saco el coche, no sé. Porque si me tengo que gastar un pastizal en cambiar de nave para comprarme un coche, macho, con lo relativo que soy, prefiero ir mandando. Voy a gastar el dinero en un coche, ahora cómprate una nave más grande para meter dicho coche. En por culo me voy andando por todo el planeta.
Good job. One question. So I heard the rumor that the idea of the 3D printable topper files came from a hackathon event. Is that true?
That is true. Very similar to the Xbox Adaptive Controller years ago. The adaptive thumbstick toppers were born from a hackathon project. So hackathon is a week where Microsoft employees get to take a break from their day job and work on a passion project. And this particular team was inspired by really the high cost of adaptive accessories and doing custom setups like that. So knowing that 3D printers are a lot more available for at home or as a service, they combine these two ideas to create a great range of products that offer gamers a lot more options to customize their setup just to exactly what they need.
And so much goes into the creation of these accessibility offerings, and especially what did the development for the 3D printable files for the adaptive thumbstick toppers look like?
Yeah, very similar to the adaptive joystick and all of our other accessibility offerings. We, again, partner directly with the disability community, specifically a lot of hospitals and gaming accessibility charities that were doing a lot of 3D printing work. So we worked with them directly and kind of just
un dinero para comprarme una nave más grande para meter el coche, yo te digo que yo prefiero ir mandando.
The final 6 shapes that we have available today, so very direct, working with them and getting that feedback. Something that we also learned, though, by working with them is that, you know, not everyone needs a full-on adaptive setup. Sometimes just minor modifications to how you interact with your thumbstick can be the difference that allows someone to play longer, more comfortably. It can also be the difference whether you can play all together. So
hay una feria de la industria del videojuego, no es un festival del videojuego, por así decirlo, sobre la industria. Es normal que me den estas cosas, pero hacerlo evento soporífero, que llevamos ya hora y media de evento, casi hora y media, y dura 2 horas.
Also, not everyone at home knows how to 3D model and customize their own shapes at home. So with the Xbox Design Lab platform, it's as simple as picking your shape, using sliders to adjust the height and the width of those shapes, and you're given a free 3D printable file that you can then take to a printer. If you have access to, you can use a 3D printing service, and it's as simple as customizing from there with no 3D modeling knowledge required.
I love that. But what I love more is that you not only support the community with creating accessories, you also support partners, third-party developers in bringing their designs to life. So can you share about a little bit more who you're partnering with?
Yes. And I will say I am just personally so grateful and excited that we do have so many Design for Xbox partners who are just really committed to making
Madre mía, vamos de tostonazo, y lo único bueno es el S.T.A.L.K.E.R. que ha durado 5 minutos.
So back in May, they announced their Proteus controller, which is a modular controller that allows you to really build your own unique setup that works best for you. And very exciting today that controller is now available. In addition to BioWave, 8-Bit Do is both announcing and available today their Lite SC wireless controller. So all in all, you know, when it comes to
Macho, tengo que dar las gracias porque estáis aguantando conmigo como jabato,
we're just excited that our players have more and more options within the
aguantar
Xbox
este evento
ecosystem to
y
really
aguantarme a
choose
mí,
what
que
works
soy la
best for them.
alegría de la vuelta dando eventos.
Great news that you
Más que nada porque el primer evento que
so, is there
tuvimos.
any place where we can look up all of
Me da muchísimo las gracias.
Yes, to find out more about any of this accessible hardware that we've just talked about today, you can see the Xbox Wire blog post. Or if you happen to be here at Gamescom like us, you can visit us in the Here to Help area in the Xbox consumer booth.
Yo estoy pintando
you
mi
can get
extra.
hands-on with any of the products.
Está pintando el piso
do some,
figurita.
live demos. And if you're here on Friday, you can see Caitlin in a discussion panel in the community area as well.
Thank you so much to both of you for coming. And also I want to say thank you so much for making our booth accessible so everybody feels welcome. Thank you.
Otra, mi chihuahua, eso me ha llegado a la patata,
First expansion from Starfield. Find out what happens when nuclear disaster and the
La billeta esta semana, ¿qué eres?
Atomfall. And Age of Mythology.
¿De cómic o de...?
Stay tuned. We'll take a look at what you can expect from
¿De guante de cómic?
But first, it's time to explore ARY-26 once again in Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Stuck on a planet with nowhere to poop. The juiciest
¿Qué saqué yo? ¿A cagar el espacio? Venga, así sacan arriba.
I smush it down my throat.
Our new Ding Dong!
Greetings, brave explorer. We here at Alta Interglobal would like to welcome you to our newest venture, the colonization of space. You've spent almost a century hurtling through the universe in cryosleep, ready to begin your work on this strange alien planet. Unfortunately, changing market conditions have led us to the realization that space exploration is far too costly and unpredictable, and Alta has decided to cancel all future plans in space. I regret to inform you that you have therefore been made redundant. Your final check has been sent. We thank you for your service, and we hope you eventually find a way home. Good luck.
Okay. Oye, no se ve mal este bolsillo, ¿eh? Hay tantos juegos, tan poco dinero, tan poco tiempo para jugarlo a todo. Revenge of the Savage Planet. Mira. Comienza en 2025.
What started as a journey to the Savage Planet into revenge. Here with more and more fans can expect from Revenge of the Savage Planet, please welcome producer Noémie Lecruyer and creative director Alex Hutchinson. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're very happy to be here.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
How's your Gamescom going so far?
Very good.
Very good. Busy.
Yes.
It always is. There's so many games to play, so many things to see. But Alex, it's been a journey getting here, and not only to the sequel to fans, but also
Sí, la verdad que está muy chulo, ¿no?
Unpack that for us.
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty crazy half a decade for not only us, but for the entire games
industry. So we originally began as a studio called Typhoon Studios. We made Journey to the Savage Planet. We were acquired by a large multinational. The pandemic happened. We updated the game, and on the day we shipped, that same multinational made us all redundant. So we found ourselves sitting around trying to figure out what to do. But luckily, we decided to reform. So we're a new studio, Raccoon Logic, and we've made this new game, Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yeah, and Naomi, can you kind of talk about the world that we live in with Revenge
yes.
of the Savage Planet? Have we got the gameplay that we can push up? But
before that,
I think Alex is going to talk
Lo
about
empezaron a hacer durante la
some of the
pandemia.
big changes are that we've switched to third person in this one. You know, a game about exploring the world, interrogating everything that you see. It's filled with wonderful, wacky, weird creatures. It's 4 planets now instead of 1 planet. So there's lots more to do and lots more to see.
Yes, so we basically can survey, scan everything in collect the catalog. Here, as
Totalmente. 3 minutos de vídeo y 15 de diálogo.
Things to collect as well. The rewards
Y casi
are
vamos.
blocked by encounters with alien creatures, as well as puzzles and navigation challenges.
Y eso ha sido el evento de hoy, pero es que mañana se va a volver a repetir.
so cute.
Y pasado también.
The trailer beforehand, it's like, oh,
Madre mía.
it's like adorable.
And you know it's a sequel where you're swimming.
Just, it happens every single time.
Every
You've got
time.
to add water
Second
in. If you go in, no water.
Exactly.
Second time
Yo espero que mañana cambien el
a ton
ritmo.
of creativity by the team to produce an incredible world, but perhaps players' take on its obstacles can be equally as creative. So in the world, like how are players going to approach the obstacles that they face?
Yeah, so we've taken a really systemic approach to open world design. So it's still a Metroidvania. You're still being blocked by different obstacles. You need to go back to your habitat and upgrade your tools to get through them. But what we wanted to do was have a Metroidvania where there's a single lock, but multiple keys. So you see different types of objects. Say if it's a cracked wall that you need to blow up, you could do it with a grenade. You could find a creature that explodes. Anything that generates an explosion will get you through. And so hopefully, as you see in this video, there's a little bit more systemic chaos than most games of its type.
So there's lots of creative ways to kind of like solve.
Mañana también de Xbox.
You can have a bit of fun
Son
with
3
it
días.
every time you play it as well.
21,
You're gonna get
22,
those different
23.
experiences.
3 días de Xbox.
Another way players can
Pues
make
no
their
lo
game
sé.
their own is
No
through
sé, no,
customization.
lo sé, pero lo tengo apuntado y no lo tengo aquí. ¿eh?
Yes, absolutely. So we've added tons of new outfits in the game.
Okay.
You can mix and match between the different outfits. So whether
Dale,
it's
te lo
the
digo,
helmet,
mañana de
the
qué van a
boots,
hablar.
or the
Un
gloves,
momentito.
all the outfits are inspired by sci-fi themes, famous like Star Trek. Here we can see some of the suits here, as well as like Power Rangers. So
if you put on the red shirt, you get killed immediately in the game, but you reprint.
What have you got wrong with the red shirt?
It's just a trope. It's just a trope.
You also have a habitat where you will find all the main modules, like you see here, the PC that you will use throughout the game. But there's another section that you can fully customize with lots of things. So as you explore the world, you will find Alta crate containing Alta bucks you can spend in the Alta store on furniture, accessories, and basically a lot of useless junk to really make the space your own. So I hope players have a lot of fun with that.
It's like my own flat all over.
There
Just lots of stuff from Gamescom will kind of like come with me. By the end of it, I'll have plushies for days. But co-op is such a big part of the game as well. Can you kind of talk us through that, Alex?
Yeah, so a lot of the team members have worked on different 2-player co-op games, whether it was Army of 2 or Far Cry 4. We've had a lot of success with it. I think it's an intimate way to play with your best friend, your partner, your kid. And this time we've made sure you can do it in any way you can imagine. So there's not only network co-op, but there's split screen co-op you can play on the couch, and even cross-play, so you can play on any system with any other system.
I love playing split screen games as well. Like I grew up playing with my brother. Like every single game that we get our hands on to do split screen, that was always the way I played.
Perfect.
Yeah, also, it's so good you've been able to return to this franchise and bring tons to the fans.
Mañana hablan sobre Flight Simulator, Top War, Fallout 76,
you think the magic is for
Top
this
Point,
game and what
Museum,
makes fans love it so
Night
much?
Strike.
I think it's humor. You know, you see a lot of games that are very gray, very brown, very serious, and we wanted to get back to a world that was fun, that was upbeat, that was optimistic. We like the idea of exploring space because it's fun, and you're going to find something exciting. You're not going to find Matt Damon on the moon, you know, eating poop mushrooms or Mars. So So like hopefully people see that the humor in this is in the gameplay as well as the script, you know? That the joke we always tell is that, you know, I can write one line and it's funny once, but slapping your best friend to their death off a cliff is funny forever.
Just kick them off in as many
2 horas.
creative ways as possible. Like just trying to get through that cracked wall. But also, really importantly, when a player is going to be able to get their hands on the game.
So it's going to come out sometime next year, 2025. For more info, you can go on the website, Savage Planet Game, and wishlist as well right now.
Please wishlist.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't wait to come and have a go with it as well. So thank you so much for joining us as well. And have you got any final words as well that you want to share with fans?
No, we just please wishlist on whatever platform you like, and we'll show you some more gameplay soon.
No, honestly, thank you so much. But coming up, we've taken a spin in some new wheels and a turn with a new story in Starfield's first ever expansion, Shattered Space. But first, check out an action-adventure game about hope, robots, and the power of words. This is Dustborn.
We need to stick together. We need to be a crew.
Bueno.
We're on the run from people with
expansión de Starfield. Pero antes vamos a hacer este juego.
Dustborn isn't about making the big immediate choices. It's about the little things that add up over time. The words spoken.
Este juego lo vamos a ver ahora.
The decisions
Supuestamente que estará en el Game Pass.
play out when you least expect them to. The actions that push your relationships in new directions.
I guess this explains why you're suddenly so eager to chase after the robots.
Oh, keeping secrets again, huh?
Una aventura gráfica. Dustborn.
It's about making tough choices, about how to deal with the people in your crew, how to manage them, and pull them together to do the job, and to make the compromises necessary to reach the end of the road and your own personal goals.
We'll be taking a different route north.
Estos jueguecitos están muy bien para hacerte los logros y que te ayude.
I would actually like an explanation.
I concur.
En los
Think of the
puntos
game as a
revueltos.
way to write your own comic book as you play. Each chapter or issue starting with a new cover displaying what you're about to experience, and each of them ending with a comic splash screen. These pages present key choices made in the previous issue that could have an impact later on. Whether a dialogue line or event plays out because of a choice made by the player, an icon will appear in the top right corner of the screen, allowing you to really get a sense of what could have gone differently.
Stop it! Oh, what the hell, Pax?
What now?
In the comic splash, you'll have access to more data, such as global stats about how many other players received this particular consequence, allowing you to gauge how popular this choice was. Some choices lead to change, which can have an impact on your relationship with them, but also on their personal endings.
Are you just gonna hover?
Vas.
We didn't finish our chat.
Por ahí tú vas jugando y tú vas reescribiendo el cómic.
I'm worried about you, and I had.
Y tienes varias historias, una de zombies, una de lucha, política,
receives one of
varios
three
tipos de
endings,
cómics.
or codas, based on choices made and actions taken by the player and PAX. Each coda is illustrated by a comic book style splash screen, along with unique dialogues and events reflecting each character's current status. The player can at any time access the character
Yo voy a
codex
hacer una
to see
pregunta.
which coda is the current favorite.
Cuando veis este tipo de juegos, mi pregunta es, ¿necesariamente se necesita un consolón de la hostia como la serie X y la PlayStation 5 para jugar este tipo de juegos?
Whenever a dialogue choice or action affects a coda,
Estos juegos
the screen will
corren de
display a coda
poquísima
emoji,
madre
along with an animation that
en
tells
una
the
Xbox
player
One y
how
PlayStation 4. Lo que vengo a decir es que la
decide how the
generación
road trip
esta
goes and how your relationships will evolve.
para mí no está
Will no
siendo
one break away from
fuerte.
their on-again, off-again relationship with PAX,
Porque
or embrace it? Will
la gran
Theo
mayoría de
loosen
los
up
juegos
with
yo creo
Crown
que
favor his
podían
boss?
correr perfectamente una PlayStation
Will Ziggy
4
resolve her sister
o una
issues
Xbox
with
One.
PAX? Discover how it all unfolds
Yo no sé
in
hasta
Dustborn.
cuándo vamos a
Available
esperar
now.
para que dé el gran salto tecnológico. Y ya mismo nos vamos a meter la siguiente generación y esta generación no está 100% explotada. Creo que ni el 50%. Ah, pienso yo. Awaken Rain.
A most dreadful nightmare.
A ver.
Truly.
Pinta bien.
Tears at me. The fortress of stone,
Un sueño me persigue. Una pesadilla de terror.
which I struggled to
Me
build,
destroza.
is now slowly crumbling.
La fortaleza de piedra y el balón.
The land caught in a perpetual autumn. A futile sacrifice remains ensnared deep within the horns of the south. A shield, now weakened and cracked by time, fails to protect my people. A profound betrayal has befallen those most loyal, yielding only despair. I am left paralyzed, powerless. Not more than a witness. My people.
Oye, no pinta más este juego, ¿eh?
Everything is collapsing. They hailed me as the once and future king. Only now do I understand.
Soy tan solo un testigo de mi gente. Mi legado, todo está colapsando. S.T.A.L.K.E.R, The Fall of Avalon. Es la primera vez que lo veo.
Favorite massive open world space adventures,
Yo
and
nunca
it's
había
just
visto
got its
anunciar este
first
juego,
ever expansion coming up. Here with more on Starfield Shattered Space, please welcome lead creative producer Tim Lamb. Hi Tim, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Nice to meet you, Bex.
Awesome, it's lovely to speak to you today. So let's chat opening night live. We had a really fun look at a very vibey trailer about some vehicles. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
I can. So we released the Rev 8. Super excited. The team
Madre mía, ahora van a hablar
is
de
so
Starfield.
happy to have this new element that adds to planet exploration in the game. So, you know, we have these dynamic worlds with, you know, dense terrain, lots of very
Faltan 15 minutos de evento.
obstacles, and like now those worlds are our playground to drive around on.
Heck yeah.
We have a lot of, in navigating that, we have vertical boost, forward boost, we have a weapon on there. It's like a lot of different minute to minute, just like.
Parece que ha venido el tío de Uruguay del golf. Es un Cádiz, con la gorrita ahí.
Love that. Now, let's talk a wee bit about the story in Shattered Space. It's very dark and mysterious. Could you tell me and everyone watching a little bit more about the story?
Yeah, so I think there's a hopeful optimism in the giant sprawling adventure of Starfield. You go to a lot of different locations, you meet a lot of different types of people, the cast of characters there, and Shattered Space, that tone, that mood, we were able to sort of distill it down and focus it into a location in the game around Dasra City. So like we get to meet that new House Faroon, the people there. There's a moment of strife that they had. We get to experience that with them now.
Yeah, they sounded a bit intriguing, shall we say, in the footage that we saw last night. So can you tell us a wee bit more about the House of Faroon and kind of who we'll be coming across?
So I don't want to, no spoilers.
Sure.
You encounter a derelict star station, and this starts you on your adventure to meeting the Faroon. You end up in their home world, Varun Kai, in the city of Dasra. There's been a catastrophic event. You deal with the minor houses of the faction of House Faroon to sort of uncover the mystery of what happened, and then, you know, resolve it as you do as a player.
Nice.
Una estación espacial abandonada.
I'm very interested to find out what that story kind of leads us on to as well. Very good. Along with that story that we've been chatting about, there are some new game features as well as a huge new planet that we can explore. Could you tell us a bit more about those too?
So we have the city of Dasra. We focused, all of our effort has really been focused on the area around the city. So I think the beauty of it is that there's exploration, that you can find nooks and crannies in the game or little secret discoveries or locations you feel like I know I'm coming back.
Ahora que ves a estar me estoy durmiendo.
Excitement there.
Yeah.
So it's that, it's, yeah, I'm just like, I'm so excited about it.
Oh, so excited as well. I mean, even in the trailer, we saw kind of a very summery beach vibe cruising around on our Rev 8 too. Have you taken it for a spin?
I have. No, I do, and I think Shattered Space is like a fantastic playground for it. Now, you can take the Rev 8 to any planet.
Yeah.
You can take it into Varunkai.
A mí lo que me jode de Starfield
and drive it there as well. But like we support.
es que la raza es solamente humana.
Our games is we always support any type
No
of.
me ha sacado
So it's like
otro tipo de raza.
You can take it to Varunkai. You cannot take it there.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be taking it for
Vas por ejemplo a Marte,
as
no sé,
well
te
when
encuentras
Shattered Space releases too. Was there
gente con
anything else that you
trabajo o
wanted to
con
chat to us
cuatro
about for
tatas, como
Starfield
por
Shattered
ejemplo
Space coming out?
en la película esta de Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You can. I think you can
Vas a
look
hacer
forward
pelos.
to an interesting story, a handcrafted world,
Sí.
new weapons, new gear,
O
new
alienígenas.
items, that sort of alter the way you
El
might think
carmesí,
about
Amazing.
todo humano,
Well,
macho.
Tim, I cannot wait to play it as well. And everyone watching at home as well, be sure to check out Starfield Shattered Space, launching September 30th with Xbox Game Pass. Thanks again for chatting with us. Now, next up, we're exploring, scavenging, and hopefully surviving the harsh world of Atomfall. But first,
El 30 de septiembre. Bueno, ya está. ¿Ya ha terminado esto? No creo, ¿no? No creo que hayan terminado con Starfield.
Hi there, I'm James, the designer of Let's Build a Dungeon, a game development simulator that's coming to PC and Xbox next year. We previously brought our game Let's Build a Zoo to Xbox Game Pass, so it's exciting to be back here sharing news of our next game. Today, we want to share a closer look at our multi-layered map system and also reveal some features that we've never talked about before.
No, si el evento no ha terminado todavía. Pero me quería que debe terminar, pero el evento no ha terminado todavía. Tienes que hablar de Atomfall y de Mythology.
You get to decide which quests to put in the world.
Pero me da a mí la sensación que habían acabado con esto. Yo con esto no pueden haber acabado.
Or something more cozy, like fishing or running monster farms. And if you want even more control, we have an exclusive new mode to share with you. Creative mode is our sandbox. But it's a sandbox quite unlike the other. Not only do you have access to literally thousands of assets in Let's Build a Dungeon, you can also tell your own story. We are developing a series of easy-to-use tools that lets you create almost anything.
Nunca me han llamado este tipo de juego.
That lets you
Ahora se va a pillar esto.
Create branching conversations, events, and rewards to a full AI editor that lets you adjust anything from attack probabilities to spawn rates and weapons. We even have a tool that lets you draw your own pixel art characters, which will then automatically animate them for you. Our goal is to build a suite of tools that gives you as much control as we have when building our games. Games made by the community will be available for download, along with some titles made by developers like us here at Spring Loaded. Adding these tools felt like the natural extension of our game development simulator. Why stop at building the most detailed game dev sim ever created when we can add elements of a game engine to give you a full, authentic experience. Hopefully, this short overview has given you an idea of what to expect from Let's Build a Dungeon when it ships next year.
Un simulador de juego. Bueno.
Windscale, the pride of Britain. Nestled in the picturesque Lake District, the state-of-the-art atom plant has transformed this rugged landscape into the envy of its northern neighbors. Scientific progress waits for no one.
Windscale. Everything the atom plant went up in flames. Citizens of Wyndham.
Este puede ser el Atomfall.
Bandit activity outside the village walls. Temporary quarantine, they said. It's been bloody years.
They're hiding something from us. Something terrible. My name's Molly. You got
Este puede ser el Atomfall.
box for sale. Please be careful. It's more dangerous than you can possibly imagine.
Me veo un poco, entonces se ha quedado esto. Wow. Se ha quedado pillado otra vez. Me recuerda a la Atomfall. Esto es el Atomfall.
It's mystery mixed with folk horror weirdness, all set in a not-so-idyllic post-war British countryside, and believe it or not, it's based on a true story. Really? Well, here with more on Atomfall, please
Sí, se ve guapo, pero
director for Rebellion, Ben Fisher. How you doing?
no me convenció
Thank you. First time here?
el Atomfall, no me convenció y este tampoco.
But not with a game quite like this, right?
Pero bueno, si lo traen de uno en paz, lo jugaré.
Because this is a huge departure from Rebellion's most famous series, let's call it, Sniper
El
Elite.
día
Can
uno
you tell
o
us
cuando
about
fuese.
this?
Voy a 3 o 4 meses en paz, pero lo probaré.
Different aspects of the game. So we always value sandbox exploration and giving the player lots of freedom in their objectives. But at the same time, this is a survival action game with some sort of RPG-ish elements. There's skills, there's crafting. The story of the game unfolds as you explore. It's kind of a mystery game, so tonally quite different to Sniper Elite.
I love the exploration side of it. I mean, from what we just saw in the quick trailer, there's a lot going on. It's not just one sort of trope that you're sticking to. Maybe as we're checking out some gameplay that you brought along that we can experience, we can jump into some of the influences that have made it into this title, because, like I said, it's a lot going on here, man. So let's check out some of this gameplay as well. You've got to start off with a post box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else?
I mean, it's on your T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
It must be quite a core feature of Atomfall, I assume.
It is actually.
Ah.
So, as you explore the world of Atomfall, you're uncovering a mystery. You're discovering what's happened in this post-apocalyptic quarantine zone in 1950s north of England. Different characters will ask you to do things for them, and they might help in return. And one of the characters that you can interact
Mira que los juegos estos ya de los mundos apocalípticos de guerras nucleares, zombies y tal.
Kind of
Yo
like
tengo los
Boss Lady
géneros
Charlie's Angels
masificados,
vibes
tío.
coming through the floor.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. That's cool.
Y es que últimamente no sé si es que no me llaman tanto, no me impacta tanto los videojuegos. Antiguamente era uno tras otro, era impactante. Ya no sé si es por la edad o porque hay tanta cantidad de juegos que ya no me llaman, ya no me impactan tan continuamente los videojuegos, tío. Porque ya me estoy haciendo más selecto, no sé. Y otra vez se ha quedado pillado, macho. Pues al final, a última hora se va a quedar. Oh. Se ha quedado pillado. Ah, Serena, ostras. Nada, se ha quedado. ¿Se ha quedado tonto esto? Ahora.
Disaster that happened. The first major nuclear disaster in the world was in the Windscale plant in Sellafield, so 1957. We wanted to use that as a jumping off point for a story. So Jason Kingsley, one of the owners of Rebellion, observed that there are lots of games that are kind of like post-atom storytelling, like post-atomic disaster storytelling, but none set around this first disaster that's happened in the world. So we took that as a starting point and then thought, what's a Rebellion kind of interpretation of that kind of event? So, like I say, we value that kind of sandbox exploration and player freedom, and then combine that with the sort of unique Britishness, and that led to the environment that we've got in the game. So it's kind of an alternate history story, and it's a mystery that you uncover what's happened. And as part of the process of building that game world, we look back at Retold storytelling. So references like
llamada atómica.
earliest sci-fi serials, or like early Doctor Who, and things like
Nombre muy parecido.
UK TV Gold.
Hola, Pablo Villa.
Cultural reference points that even if people don't know themselves, they know the influences that came from it. And at the time, there wasn't a clear distinction between like folk horror and sci-fi and those kind of stories. So it's a blend, it's a natural blend in the storytelling style of the 50s.
And of course you have to chuck some cricket bats in there for good measure. I mean, the combats are pretty crunchy, right? I mean, this is, like you say, a bit of a departure from Sniper Elite, which is typically long range, but in here we're getting right up, even the fact that it's first person camera as well.
Es que lo que estaba comentando antes, ya los mundos estos así subatómicos de después de una guerra atómica, los apocalípticos, y ya están muy saturados. Pasa igual que los juegos de zombies. Entonces, a mí hoy que me llame un juego así, la atención tiene una historia muy buena. Muy buena, porque gráficamente son más o menos iguales. Y como sea la historia, porque el gameplay y tal, más o menos igual. Entonces no sé si es por la edad, porque ya he jugado muchos videojuegos y coño, que ya no me impacta tanto como antiguamente, que era un juego tras otro. Entonces yo este juego pues no me lo pienso comprar, sinceramente. Yo no me compraría este juego. Ahora, que está en el Game Pass, pues sí, pues lo disfrutaré y me apetece, pues lo jugaré. No tiene algo diferenciador que a mí me haga comprarlo, ¿verdad? Siento mucho. Lo pienso así. No sé cómo lo veis vosotros.
Talking about Kyle and that he's an iconic character, what about the characters in Atomfall, or player characters, and are there other people that we're going to meet that are going to be key?
Yeah, so I need to have the right answer that doesn't spoil too many things, but as you explore the game world, different characters will ask you to help uncover the mystery of what happened in the Windscale plant, and maybe ask you to do something when you get there. And if you do that for them, they may find you a way to escape this quarantine zone, or they promise to. So as you explore, you've got to decide who you trust and who you don't trust, whether you think they're telling the truth, trying to manipulate you, whether you believe the same things as they do. There's all murky shades of grey. There's no good guys and bad guys, and it's all completely open to the player. So you could theoretically kill every character in the game, and there's still a way to finish the game. You can theoretically play through and kill no one, and there's other routes available to you. So we really pushed hard into giving the player lots of options and lots of rewards for observing and choosing what to do. So there's lots of tropish characters, lots of kind of characters that fit this world.
Hay mucha gente que no le gusta los juegos en primera persona.
North of England, and also be
Antes por ahí estaba, por ejemplo, Playmodar,
culturally.
que decía que no le hacía chiste ni gracia de que Indiana Jones fuese primera persona. No, la verdad que el juego, si está bien, si la historia es buena, no me importa que sea en primera o tercera, hombre, prefiero los juegos en tercera persona, pero que no me importa que fuese en primera persona un videojuego, si el juego está bien, si la historia está bien, el gameplay está bien, y no tiene bug, el juego es fluido, no me importa. Pero yo viendo este juego, no le veo yo qué diferenciador que a mí me diga que juego me lo voy a comprar. No. Gracias a Dios tenemos Game Pass, y si viene a Game Pass por lugares, si no, no creo que...
5 or 6, depending on how you count, sandbox maps like the one you can see just now. And you can travel freely between them at any time. They're all thematically very, very different. And then there's loads of interiors and like story-driven locations that you might uncover.
Mira, gráficamente no se ve mal.
Bunkers that are full of loot that you might find. What we wanted to do is really lean into that densely packed kind of puzzle box. So I've spent all day watching people play the game, and no two playthroughs have been the same. People can approach it all very, very differently, get different experiences. As you explore the game, you'll find leads as well. So we don't have a kind of quest system. We've got leads that you piece together, clues that help you understand what's happening. So we built this puzzle box, this sandbox of interconnected options for the player, and then we just they might find a difficult, dangerous place and die, but we signpost very clearly place, and then it's kind of up to them what happens.
That's right. I love a puzzle. I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
A ver qué nos sorprende esta gente, si nos da una sorpresa al final. O lo mismo lo dan pasado mañana, que es el último día de presentación de Xbox.
Literally pulling out a metal detector and taking part in that great British tradition of finding.
No, mira una cosa en el móvil, me ha saltado un mensaje.
What are the other ways we can do that?
Yeah, so you might find a lead that someone's hidden in a box under the ground somewhere. They've, a bit of storytelling around it to draw the player in and make them try to understand how it fits to the game world. But there's also characters that you might find in the world. There's friendly characters that you can barter with, and they might sell you or rather trade something with you which has a lead in it. Or if you do some trade with them, they might get friendly to you and give you a lead.
Aquí por lo menos la entrevista la están dando, pero están poniendo gameplay del juego. Estamos viendo los caretos ahí de...
The same kind of high stakes player freedom. So you can get the conversation wrong. You're not working your way down a list of conversation topics until they grey and then moving on to the next one. It works more like a real conversation. So if you judge their personality wrong and say the wrong thing, they might shut down and stop talking to you. And you've
Yo esperaba ver algo más de Starfield. Starfield ha mostrado 5 minutos. Ahora en teoría quedaría que nos enseñase Mythology, el remake, y poco más.
Can you tell us what that kind of looks like in Atomfall?
Sure. So the player's desperately trying to survive and finding materials to help them survive. So even if they find a gun, there might be 3 bullets for the gun. So they can find materials that let them craft things to help them heal or help them in combat, so Molotov cocktails and makeshift grenades and things like that. So you find yourself trapped into a corner and you can make these resources that help you survive. Like I say, we're trying to make sure that we find this sweet spot where you feel kind of desperate as you're trying to survive. We want you to use everything that you find. We've made sure your backpack capacity is quite limited as well, so you're really pushed to make these difficult choices and decide even whether you want to engage in a fight or not, whether you want to avoid it entirely, you want to choose the right moment and try and take out 5 guys with a Molotov. Really, really high stakes, but it makes it very rewarding when you manage to pull something off.
It looks like our player right now is making a horrible decision by going into a restricted area. Already seen a ribcage. I mean,
yeah. I mean, so
this is going to go great.
Like I mentioned earlier, if you're heading into somewhere difficult or dangerous or scary, we make sure and signpost it. So if you go into a place like that and then you die, you go, oh, I should have guessed. Yeah, there was a skeleton outside.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm very good at ignoring red flags, so we'll see about that.
And in terms of the player's progression then, so you're making all these decisions, you're making friends with everybody, you're crafting your gear. What about skills, anything like that in the game?
Sure. So there's a range of skills that help reinforce the player's ability to survive in this dangerous world. So there's a for melee combat, ranged combat. There's sort of durability skills that mean you can take more damage and survive in dangerous areas. And then also abilities that help your overall survival, like disarming traps and things like that. So really we wanted to keep it grounded so that there's always that sense of threat and pressure, but we wanted to give you some advantages. So you might learn a skill that lets you throw a melee weapon, and if it's bladed, it'll stick in targets and things like that, just to help give you that edge over the course of the game. As you can see in this location here, they're in a kind of dark and then scary interior. So we've got the player's progression, but then there's also a kind of game world progression where they're uncovering a mystery. So quite literally, they have to push deep into the world and into the underground of the world to find these dark and scary places. We try and keep it tense the entire way through the game.
I was going to say, because there is the sci-fi element, but there's a bit of horror vibes I'm getting too. Like, so with us competing with people maybe on a top level, and now we've got into this bunker, there must be some monsters of some kind.
Yeah, we just saw a little glimpse of something scary.
Yeah. Una historia con drama.
Into the mystery, you will find more elements influenced by what happened. But yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said earlier, the telling style of the 50s and 60s didn't really have a division between folk horror and sci-fi. There was like a blend for a certain kind of story that was addressing the Cold War, but in a way that wasn't too political, I guess. So, you know, folk horror stories are about the division between rural and urban civilization and how there's a tension between them, and Cold War stories are about fear of the outsiders and others and that sort of thing. And there's thematic resonances between all of these different storytelling styles, which make it really easy for us to push into these otherworldly horror elements as you push into the mystery.
Nice. That's so sick.
We've got quite an atmospheric bunker, like you said, as well. Have you got a favorite part of the maps that you can share us with? Again, nothing. I'm really pushing it here, but any favorite place to maybe have a picnic or anything like that?
Well, actually, there is a favorite secret place which I can tell you about a little bit. So, as the player is starting the game, they're given one lead. A person tells them that the heart of this mystery is a location called the Interchange. So to begin with, you're trying to find this place, and as you make your way in, it's all unpowered, it's been shut down, it's been quarantined, and you push into it and open it up more and more, and it's like an unfurling flower as you find all of these leads that are the heart of the mystery. And the more you find, the more leads there are to find. So you end up in this kind of like snowball effect.
He's just picked up a Cornish path thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. Well, this is pre-Greg's era, I suppose. So we'll take all we can get for now.
That's brilliant.
Just don't ask what meat's in it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's really fun for me to see like the contrast between that bunker we just came out of, and then like the overworld is so lush and vibrant. And listen, I've been to the north of England. It's not always this green, so sometimes, yeah, exactly. I mean, I live in London, and it's just grey all the time. So any green I can get is good. But
it's the Lake District on a good day.
Yeah, exactly. So, will we see many other types of biomes or environments in the game as well?
Yeah. So one example would be there's a.
Pues yo creo que ya que le falta poco para terminar el evento, Horacio.
Spooky folk horror-ish tone. As you get into it, it feels more
El
mysterious
Atomfall,
and occult, and there's a kind of
el Mythology, el que queda, y no sé si
tread wrong, you can find a friendly character who's sort of part of
si da una sorpresa, ¿no? Pero yo creo que no.
So we give you all these different options.
Si me puerto la llegada de Zoom, me lo decís por Twitter, me pierdo.
Or get in a fight with them. Yeah.
Pues bueno, por darte las gracias. Por haber estado aquí conmigo. Y nada, pues ya vamos hablando por Twitter. Que mañana sigue retransmitiendo el segundo día de Xbox. Espero que mañana estemos la cosa sea más animada el evento. Y yo te espero, que mañana también te pases por aquí.
There's Henry getting his wee.
Chao, Horacio.
Yeah, I have to say it's maybe not the most flattering, methods of doing it, but
Sí, no te preocupes.
what are you actually doing?
Muchas gracias por estar aquí, la verdad. Ya vamos hablando. Un abrazo, tío.
Apparently that's for something, but
yeah, no,
what
this
did
is
you guys
just a
do?
massive
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, thanks. What is it that you guys have to do to get someone scanned into your games? Because the realism is quite impressive.
Sure. So we go through a highly detailed scanning process of every angle of your face and different configurations. So we get wrinkle maps and
Horacio, un crack, el tío es un crack.
Of course, yeah.
Lo que me divierto yo con él en Twitter, macho. Es un crack.
So they're all assembled by character artists and rigged so they can animate. And then we, in the case of Atomfall, we then put that in a sort of character builder system. That means we can put costumes on the characters. We might grub your face up a bit because without washing machines and soap. And then we just find exactly the right spot for each kind of memorable face in the game.
I'm definitely looking out for where I am. If I'm on an enemy, that's okay. I've always wondered what I'd look like if I had a cricket bat to the face. So this is great. And you're going to be getting scanned in pretty soon.
Yeah. I can't wait. As long as you put some fake eyelashes on me as well, then make that.
I'll make a note.
Yeah. Are you in the game as well? Have you
scanned?
Oh, okay.
No. You have to shave a beard off if you want to get.
Yeah, you had to do that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was just the beard that we had to shave. Right.
Yeah, the rest was optional.
Oh. Whoops. Honestly, I cannot wait to play this game. It looks bonkers. It looks British as heck. And honestly, we're going to play it so much when it launches next year. Thank you so much, honestly, for just stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your Gamescom. And yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And we are going to be taking a little look at some other games, but your game's coming out in 2025 on Xbox Game Pass, which is great. But next up, we're going to be throwing it back.
Venga, supuestamente.
But before we do that, we do want to check out some new gameplay. It's Dragon Ball. Oh yeah, Sparking Zero. It's back. Check this out.
Everyone, I'm Marco Rizzo, Product Manager of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Thank you for joining us today in this exciting showcase. Today, we will show you some new and exciting gameplay footage featuring characters that we have revealed during the opening night live. But before that, let me give you a reminder on the 2 single-player game modes that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has to offer: Episode Battles and Custom Battles. First up is Episode Battle. In this single-player mode, you can take the point of view of 8 different characters, including Goku and Vegeta, and enjoy famous battles from the anime. For each stage, you'll be playing through an introduction
No es que los juegos de Dragon Ball, la serie sí, pero los juegos me han dicho que el Kakarot está muy bien. No sé si lo probaré, pero no es que los juegos de combate de Dragon Ball.
In this mode, players fight in battles that each have their own original scenes. Some battles will also have different and some might even have event cutscenes pop up midway, so you'll be able to enjoy battles different from the norm. Using Edit mode, you'll be able to freely set the characters to be played, as well as the pre-battle and post-battle cutscenes, in order to make your own original battle. What you've made will be able to be uploaded and viewed online for the whole world to play, so hope you enjoy sharing the battles and situations that you have created. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. Coming straight from the Majin Buu saga, Ultimate Gohan is our latest addition to the roster. After his rigorous training, he's ready
Yo me
to show
quedé a
his
medio
power in
terminar
an all-out fight against Kefla
la
in
serie
Super
de Dragon
Saiyan
Ball
2 form.
GT.
Enjoy!
El 1, el Z. Pero ya Dragon Ball GT ahí no llega nadie.
たさせてもらいますよ。もう参ったは効かないぞ。だっ。
Pues la oreja, macho. Oh. No, a ver si no me voy a poner los cascos, Me parece que no voy a escuchar nada. Por eso corto la oreja. Porque suplique. El 11 de octubre de 2024, ¿qué va a ser X? No han dicho nada de PlayStation 5, evidentemente.
Now there is nothing like enhancing a classic with modern graphics.
Hombre, la pelopollo otra vez.
And if that classic feature can feature, you know, new expansions and a remastering of the multiplayer experience, well, in my eyes, it's even better. So here from World's Edge even, to give us the latest on Age of Mythology Retold, please welcome Senior Director of Production, Ernest Yen, and Senior Game Designer, Kristen Perillo. Welcome and prostagma to you. Thank you so much. Now, Age of Mythology, there's at Gamescom in general. There's we also had a pretty epic opening night live, so I want to hear all about that. I want to hear all about the booth. I want to hear everything.
Great. So first, thank you, Jeff Keighley, for showing the awesome premiere trailer that we just showing opening the live last night, and you showed the story of Athena talking to like the young hero, in this case, like one of them is of course the characters like Diablo. And about this really, really epic like story that a lot of our fans remember really fondly. So over multiple campaigns, missions, it is epic, amazing. Wow. And of course the trailer also show off like the new graphics within the game, looking really pretty. It is just like really cool to see. So.
And the trailer's been fantastic because it really showcases how diverse each civilization is within myth. We have our Greeks, we have Egyptians, Norse, and Atlantean. They all have their own gods, their lore, the way that they play. There's just so much diversity within the gameplay. It's been really exciting.
And talking about the booth, yes, we are here.
Mythology lo tengo yo para.
Just over the back, over there. You're like tucked away over that way.
There.
Thanks for planning on coming tomorrow. Just over there.
And if you come, you can get like these awesome lightning bolts, like, and also take pictures.
La verdad que no,
really, really
no más juego.
And by the way, this is not the only thing that we have here. So on top of Age of Mythology Retold, we also recently announced Age of Empires Mobile. And then, like, if you come by the booth, you can get this like awesome like pop socket. It's like amazing. So highly recommend.
I'm gonna be first in the queue to get one as soon as possible.
So cool. And the game is actually, we just announced that it's going to be available globally on October 17th. So it's a very different, very new experience that we're expanding Age of Empires to the mobile audience. So it's a game built with the awesome Team Studio Group, and they have crafted something that's amazing for the mobile gamers.
Oh, how exciting. So. I can't wait to see it. Amazing. Right, so I know you have more news to come as we're talking here today, but the first thing I want to talk about is that this is more of it's more than a remastering, but it's different to a sequel, right? So I don't know, what in the name of gods does Retold actually mean?
Right, so for a few years now, our fans know building these things called like definitive editions. And there's one key goal that we have, which is we want to build the title that's in your head, right? Not because when you actually think about the game, you remember fondly and say like this amazing, right? But when you actually try to play the original for real and look at it and say, like, that's not what I remember at all. So we want to build the one that's actually in your head and how it looks like, how it feels like. So that's the goal. So. And yeah, really want to thank the fans for supporting us for so long for all the different editions. But for Retold, Age of Mythology Retold, we are doing beyond what we have done in different editions. So on top of all the graphics and all the gameplay from the original, we actually tweak it and add
Yo tuve una temporada que le estuve dando mucho a los juegos de estrategia y a los
we really asked ourselves how can we maximize our mythology. And so we've, you know, we've got reusable god powers, which you can actually see. We've got our, you know, approachability features like our VPS we brought in from other titles. We've got, you know, a more favor-based economy, so you can build more monsters, and our population cap is much higher now. So not only can you build more monsters, you can just build more of everything.
You add me at more monsters, I'll stop you there. It feels like a love letter, really. Everything you've learned so far, you're bringing back, and I love the idea of taking out what you see in your head and then making that version of the game. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So you mentioned a little bit about god powers, actually. I heard we have our very own gods wandering around at Gamescom, by the way, while we're on the subject.
Yes, we have invited them to the booth. So you also can actually see them. We have Athena and Zeus here in our booth. So come by, see them. Like, you can see
Zeus is loose.
Goodness me, where did you find that?
They are amazing.
Qué sueño tengo, macho. Es que me está haciendo el evento. Mira dónde está yo al final. No, es que el evento ha sido lo más soporífero, ya te digo. Lo más medianamente emocionante. Starfield y S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Ya han durado 5 minutos cada uno. Bueno, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. un poquito más. Pero ha sido un evento.
Animations, like effects, all of them are completely rebuilt. So just for this game. And it's amazing. The team did really, really good work. But we want to make sure that you also keep the flavor of the original. Because again, we want to build a game that people remember. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a labor of love. I will say that much. Yeah, so we've gone asset by asset.
Yo sé que hay gente, por ejemplo, que le gusta mucho
we wanted everything to look and feel mythical, and so we have, you know, our destruction effects. We support ray tracing. But like Ernest had said earlier, you know, sometimes when we've gone back and looked at these assets in 2024, we realized that we had an image in our head that was very different than blurry pixels, you know, wrapped around a sphere.
So we had a lot of philosophical
discussions because, you know, the dev team were all major fans of the original. So, I mean, Arcantos was a big one where we were like, what do you have a dimple? Or would his chin be more square? What do you have?
Meetings,
please. It's been really fun, you know, it's a hard workshop test looking at some of the assets. And then it's like labor of love, and it, you know, all comes together to make that game that we remember loving and playing.
Amazing. So if I've got everything right here, so Age of Mythology Retold is a complete visual overhaul, updated god powers, and larger-than-life myth units. Now, small enough to keep me interested, but is there anything else that you have to share?
Yes, definitely want to say that, remind people, one of the coolest things that we have done for here is that we are releasing on PC and Xbox with crossplay.
Este lo volveré a jugar cuando salga en Game Pass, a ver cómo se adapta los juegos de estrategia a este juego, al mando,
really
a la
happy to be able
consola.
to bring the game to not only to the keyboard and mouse player, but to controllerless players as well. Because the game people really remember, beloved it. We want everybody to be able to play together.
And you've had some fantastic versions on the console recently, so those players want to absolutely join you. Now,
Y si
you
ha
also
jugado a
have some
Monster
other really
Hunter,
exciting things to tell us today. I know I'm really
pues
ready for this.
mira,
What
probé
can you tell us about the Freya
un Monster
Gods
Hunter.
Oh, I am so excited to be able to
¿Cuál
talk
fue?
about it.
Here we go.
So the Freya God Pack
El
really
de la Wii
is
U.
kind of like a new DLC type for us.
Y no me
And what we
convenció.
really wanted to do
Después
was
jugué
offer
a
players a new
Monster Hunter que también
strategy
salió
type
para
from Norse, which is,
Xbox.
you know, a beloved civilization from the
El
legacy game
penúltimo que
that
salió.
can sometimes be very
Tampoco, a mí que los
offensive in
Monster
the way that
Hunter
it plays. And
no.
so with our Freyr God Pack, we wanted to offer
No,
a
no me
defensive
convence.
skew to it. So with the Freyr God Pack, players will be getting
Yo
4
que
new God
te
types
estaba diciendo
featuring Freyr,
que
who
a
is
ti,
the god of
¿qué
fertility
coño
and
va
kingship,
te
and then
convence?
3 minor
No, bueno,
gods,
hasta me
as well as all
forza.
the things that they
No
go
te
with, like
convence
the
con la
fifth units and
conducción.
their god
Hasta
powers.
Oh my
me
goodness me,
convence.
that's
Ha
insane, by the way,
salido.
4 new gods. Amazing.
Era Atomfall, no te convence. Los Monster Hunter no te convence.
Amazing, excellent.
El
So we
parche de
have
pista
Cooler,
cubierta,
who
no
is the
hombre.
god of archery,
No,
and
ya
his
fuera
myth
onda.
unit is a
Bueno,
Draugr,
a
which you may
mí los
see
juegos de
in
rol
film here. The Draugr is
me
an
gustan mucho,
awesome
por
myth
ejemplo,
unit. He's an undead archer, and his arrows
los-
can pierce multiple targets, whatever is in his line of
Esto,
sight.
la
We have Aegir,
Norma,
who is the god
Canta,
power. He has a
Agotpi, la
horrifying
Dragonite.
storm that will slow everybody down
Ahora
and turn
en general
frosty.
me
And he is one
me
of the
gustan
best
mucho.
myth units, which is a rock giant, and if you upgrade him,
Los
he can
los
eat
Mass
buildings, and he
Effect,
will.
me encantan.
Ah, God, I love this game.
And our mythic
Wow.
age god is Vidar, who is
Después
the
los,
god of
a
vengeance,
mí me
very appropriate for the
gustan
mythic
general,
age. And so his god power, he calls
probar
it.
todo un poco. Hay géneros que me gustan más y géneros que me gustan
And
menos.
Fenrir is interesting. He has
Como
a
Monster
path
Hunter,
of
por ejemplo, a mí
destruction,
no me llama
like
mucha
forest
atención.
on
Y
fire,
los
and
juegos
the
de
wolf
estrategia,
comes
aunque
up in a
estoy
very
diciendo,
scary, ghostly
es que
manner.
había altísimos los
And
juegos
then
de
his
estrategia.
myth unit is
Los
actually
juegos
my
de
personal
conducción,
favorite. another famous character from mythology, Fafnir, who
Hostia,
is a very greedy dragon.
Vanguard,
Everywhere he goes,
ese me
he
lo
leaves
pienso
like a
pillar
trail of
día
poison.
uno.
And if you slay Fafnir on the battlefield, he
Me
actually
encanta.
melts
Y
into
mira
a
que me
pile
han
of
jodido,
gold
me han
coins.
spoileado. Que sale un personaje de Dragon Age 2.
I love how much you fleshed out each of those. Like, yeah, that
No,
one's going to
no,
eat
Dragon Age
buildings, isn't
1.
he?
No sé ni de dónde en el
So
3.
good, wonderful.
It's amazing. I just want to do a quick reminder that Freya is going to be part of the premium edition of the game. So
Vuelve ese personaje. No te voy a decir quién es, pero no, seguramente lo sepa.
And by the way, if you get the
Tengo una
premium
gana de
edition
ese
of the
juego.
game, you also will be able to access the game earlier. So, like, the game is coming out September 4th, but like,
Ahora no sabes que no cae en qué personaje estoy diciendo. Bueno.
To me, love it, awesome. So, as well as choosing your god and battling across this frozen north, what other new content can we expect from the Freya Gods pack?
Yes, so with the Freyr God Pack, there's also a new playable level called Reagan Leaf Rally, and I won't spoil it. It's very fun. You'll get the chance to play
Sí, nos llega en Simpa.
units and God powers.
Otro juego que a mí tampoco me atrae.
The best part of this level is that
¿Qué le vamos a hacer? No esos tipos de watching horror.
who is just a peach, and it's a great experience.
Madre mía, Pablo,
I can't wait to unpack this expansion, but I need to ask you both, what dates? I know we spoke them a little bit, but let's go over it one more time so everyone's got them written on the calendar.
La verdad, tío. Tío, a veces que si no me atrae, no me atrae, tío. Sé que hay mucha gente que lo juega. Y que es muy importantísimo para el equipo. Que no me atrae con juegos, tío. Madre mía.
Listen to consumer feedback, and honestly, our play is amazing.
Yo soy sincero, yo no tengo por qué engañar a nadie. Ostras.
And part of that is, we have two new
Mucha gente que le gusta el Persona 5, por ejemplo, mi amigo S.T.A.K.E.R, otro youtuber, que seguramente lo conocerá, me lo ha recomendado un montón de veces y yo lo he probado otras veces y nunca me he tenido de... No, tengo la serie X. Tengo la serie X. En casa tenemos dos series X y dos equipos web. Tengo una serie X que con la que uso, mi otro tiene otra, una equipo web. Tengo en el salón. Yo otro equipo web la tengo guardada, ¿no? Yo hacer un cambio de lo que hago.
For Star Wars Outlaws, the latest chapter from Fallout
También tengo la PlayStation 5 y la
Zero,
PlayStation 4.
and then we'll dive into the most ambitious story arc that World of Warcraft
Pues bueno,
has
esto
ever
ya
seen, and there's probably going to be so
ya
much
se ha acabado,
content.
¿eh?
So until tomorrow,
El evento
have
ya
a great
se ha
day.
acabado.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Pues bueno, chicos, el evento ya se ha acabado. Daros las gracias a todos por haber estado ahí, todos los que me habían acompañado esta larguísima tarde. Para mí, yo me esperaba más, no me esperaba. Ha sido mucho charloteo todo, mucha historia. Yo esperaba más que anunciasen más de Starfield y más de S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Han anunciado 5 o 10 minutos de cada uno y poco más. La verdad que me lo he pasado muy bien. Ha habido momentos que estaba cansado porque la calor y tal, y a última hora ya cansarse me pesaba. Pero me lo he pasado muy bien con todos vosotros. Con Horacio, con Michiwata, con Pablo Villa, ahora que me he reído un montón a la última hora. La verdad que he estado muy a gusto, muy cómodo con vosotros. El primer evento, por así decirlo, que transmito y tal. Espero que hayáis disfrutado conmigo. Que bueno, yo soy así, yo intentaré mejorar, intentaré poco a poco hacer las cosas mejor. Y nada, chicos, que me lo he pasado en grande con vosotros. Daros las gracias a todos. Y bueno, mañana retransmitiré, hostia, que no me sale la palabra, retransmitiré el segundo día. También empieza a las 3, también conectaré a las 3 menos cuarto, por falta de tiempo. Yo como a las 2, en la que como pues organizo todo un poco, a las 3 menos cuarto conectaré, así que os invito a que volváis a estar conmigo, que disfrutemos aquí de mi compañía. Y bueno, Pablo Villa, gracias por estar aquí. No te tengo localizado, no sé si eres suscriptor, si eres seguidor de S. No te tengo localizado. Si no eres suscriptor, pues te invito a que te suscribas al canal y espero que mañana vuelvas a estar con nosotros. Así que nada, chicos, aquí me despido. Chao, chao, chao. Nos vemos en el próximo directo, que será mañana a las 3 menos cuarto. Hasta la próxima.
Saludos. Somos libres de la amenaza de un conflicto mundial. A pesar de la incertidumbre y el caos. Y celebramos el